We begin the story with our protagonist Hyan, tied by his hand to a cage full of zombies while his ex-girlfriend and her lover mock him. The wretched woman tells him this is the end. His friends are dead, all his friends. Hyan blames himself for this. He caused it, apologizing to the bodies of his friends. Then he insults the damned traitor, but she snuggles into the arms of her lover, who decides once and for all to get rid of Hyan by releasing him into the cage. In an instant, the zombies leap to devour him as he was being eaten alive. The protagonist wishes with all his might for one last chance, a chance to return and make that damned traitor and that disgusting mastodon pay. Reaching the end of his life in a very painful way. Well, if that were the case, we wouldn't be here. Hyan is startled. He is alive. Now right in front of him is his ex-girlfriend, who at that moment was still his girlfriend. She is confronting him, and listen well because he still hasn't put the house in her name. The protagonist wonders what the hell is going on. Has he traveled back in time before the apocalypse? In his life, he was deceived by Kui, that's the wretched one's name. Not only did she scam him out of the inheritance his parents left him, but he also ended up homeless. Soon after the catastrophe occurred, zombies, it was chaos. Civilization fell within months. But with the help of the friends he made while wandering around, he built and managed a safe zone to survive the apocalypse. Until that liar Kui reappeared, she asked for his help. Somehow she won his sympathy again, if you know what I mean. What happened next was that she opened the door to his enemies. There was a Trojan horse, a traitor. Back to the present, the protagonist holds back the tremendous urge he has to hit the wretched woman. But he can't do it now. In this world, there are still laws. So he decides to kick her out of his house, leaving the girl confused and surprised. She wonders since when does Hyan not obey her? He was supposed to be her lackey, her bootlicker. The protagonist focuses on the time he has left to prepare. He checks the date. 1 month. In 1 month, everything begins. But there's something new there. A system, the apocalypse system, is now active. His first mission is released. He must complete it as soon as possible. The mission name, preparation for the apocalypse. Requirement, possess a piece of land, prepare supplies for 1 year. Reward, the mission will give him 10 points that can be exchanged in the system store. Hyan is confused and amazed. He never expected something like this to exist. In the system store, there are things like physical enhancement potions, normal supply crates, protagonist supply crates, each worth an equivalent amount of points. In his previous life, Hyan was ruined since every penny he had, every property he owned, all of it was taken by that wretched Kui. But now he will take advantage. He will take advantage to eat good food before the zombies arrive, because after that you eat very poorly. There goes his first bite, a $300 pork stew. That's it, that's delicious. Hyan gulps down food until his phone starts ringing. It's a friend of Kui's, someone named Wen. Upon answering the call, she starts screaming at him, scolding him for treating Kui badly, for kicking her out, that she loves him, blah, blah, blah. Fed up, Hyan tells the girl who she thinks she is. She's nobody to confront him and moreover has no evidence to present to him, so they can get lost. Then he hangs up before she continues arguing. He focuses on what's important, getting a piece of land. He goes to a real estate company where a friendly young lady attends to him. But before Hyan can explain why he's there, a guy appears, tells the girl to go to the back and move boxes, as there's a lot of toilet paper to move. He is Jiang Tezu, who wants to force the woman to leave since that boy is, according to him, a bankrupt loser. By how he dresses, you can tell he can't even afford a roll of toilet paper, so wasting time with him is a sin. Hyan complains. He looks down on him. The guy mocks him. That's exactly what I'm doing, he says. I'm looking down on you. And what's more, he makes a bet. If you can buy a roll of toilet paper, I'll livestream myself eating shit. The protagonist accepts the challenge. Immediately, he pulls out a Centurion black card. He tells the girl he's not there to sell his house or buy one. He's there to acquire a piece of land. Everyone is surprised. Properties are extremely expensive. Only someone truly rich could buy them. The girl guides Hyan, while the jerk thinks he's just bluffing and will run away when it's time to pay. The girl shows him the available lands, but Hyan wants to get straight to the point. He's looking for something specific. A place surrounded by mountains, and that also has a river or groundwater, potable water, of course. Transportation access with factories or large buildings. The girl starts searching her memory to see if she knows of such a place, but that jerk says there is a place like that in the West District. Although, according to the girl, those factories are half-built. It's not suitable for selling. The jerk tells her that boy isn't going to buy anything, as he's a poor devil. Hyan asks if that place meets his requirements. The girl shows him the place, and indeed it does. The location is good. It's a place that can be easily reinforced and obtain incredible defense. So he decides to buy the land. He's letting the good girl off easy, as it's a place with unfinished factories. Even so, Hyan buys it, driving that manager crazy, $300,000 in an instant. Before leaving, Hyan reminds him of his bet. Now he'll have to eat shit live. Something his colleagues will make him do. With friends like that, who needs enemies? One of the mission requirements has been completed. If you're wondering where Hyan got all that money, well, this was the money Kiwi stole from him in his previous life, the dowry. Now he needs more money to stock up on supplies. In that, he runs into that guy who killed him along with his ex. And he recognizes Hyan, wondering what he's doing there. Then he runs into that guy being forced to eat shit. Elsewhere, Hyan's ex was painting her nails when she received a call. It's Lin Sukshin. He informs her that Hyan has bought a piece of land. That upsets her greatly, asking where and how he got the money. The guy tells her he deposited $300,000. It must be the dowry money. The girl gets angry, saying that money was hers, and she adds that she'll expose him on social media. Hyan at home was thinking. He needs to get the money to build a base and buy the supplies, but where will he get it, he wonders. Just then his door is banged hard. Upon opening, it's his ex and a friend. She came to demand her money. Hyan asks what she's talking about, and she confronts him about the dowry. And she tells him she knows he bought a property with that money, and since he bought it with her money, the property is hers, so he must hand it over. Hyan asks if she's crazy. He pulls out a wad of bills and tells her he has a lot of money, but he doesn't plan to give her a single cent. Besides, he knows everything, her affair with Lin Sukshin. She didn't expect that. The friend intervenes to calm the situation. Hyan tells her absolutely nothing. She's not his girlfriend and she'd better leave. She might as well go to hell. She can't explain how he found out. They were very discreet when going to hotels. But with nothing else to do, she must leave. She has lost. Now the friend couldn't believe she was with that middle-aged man. This has gone out of control, but it's something she's going to take advantage of. At the land, Hyan gave instructions to complete some constructions, in addition to reinforcing the structure. Create bulletproof protection and many more things, the engineer wondering what all that is for. But Hyan warns him that the answers won't be to his liking. The thing is, what the engineer has to do in a month can't all be done. The protagonist asks if he's saying he can't. The other says it's not that he can't, it's just that to do it in a month will cost more money. Hyan confidently asks for his price. The guy tells him that to complete everything in just 1 month, at least $20 million, and he must give a $5 million deposit up front. Hyan assures him that in a week he'll transfer that money and as collateral will put up the land. Just then the ex's friend appears, takes him by the arm and asks him friendly, "What are you doing here, handsome?" The girl acts all affectionate. Hyan gets annoyed. She, along with Kiwi, pressured him a lot in his previous life to take everything his parents had left him. He asks her what she's doing there. She asks if it's the property he bought, wondering if he plans to build a villa there. And in response, he tells her it's none of her business. She stays angry and confused. That guy used to be a simp, but now she can't get his attention. Later, Hyan had mortgaged his house to the bank. He only got $3 million for it, so he needs another way to get money. Well, Hyan has a plan that isn't very legal. He knows the apocalypse is imminent in a month, so he'll simply sell the house to multiple people. Come on, he's going to scam half the world, since money in a month will be worthless. It only serves him to build now. Just then someone knocks on his door. It's his neighbor, an annoying old man who always complains because he makes too much noise, even when Hyan doesn't. He will be his first victim. He tells him he's fed up and accepts selling him his house for the sum of $5 million, but the condition is that he must let him live there for 6 months. Moreover, the contract is no problem. He'll sign it right there. It's an offer the old man can't refuse. He will now complete the system mission. He'll go for the supplies for a year. At the supermarket, he went like crazy, buying everything he would need. People even look at him as if he's truly out of his mind. Hyan has several carts. People mock him, saying he's one of those fools who believe in the end of the world. He has completed the mission. He chooses to buy the protagonist's supply, spending the 10 points he has earned, and receives a ring that contains 500 cubic meters of space. Come on, a warehouse, gigantic. Moreover, inside the ring, time doesn't pass. That's great. It's a perfect place to store supplies and always have fresh products. Now his new mission is to get supplies for 10 years. The reward will be 20 points. But that's when the supermarket manager arrives. Rumors of a crazy person causing trouble have spread. The guy recognizes the protagonist, and the latter recognizes him too, their ex-high school classmates. Well, more like the other guy is a bully who charged students for protection from himself, if you know what I mean. He asks what he's doing and demands he return everything. Hyan says he will buy all that. Is this how they treat their customers? The guy doubts he can really buy everything, so he forces him to check out. The total bill is $56,883. He demands he pay. He does. Annoyed, the guy decides to leave since he actually paid. But Hyan stops him. He tells him he's leaving too quickly. He must apologize to him, otherwise he'll return everything he has bought. The guy gets upset, but the other people intervene, as it's true they've been rude to that young man. They even start to aggravate. Hyan says that if he apologizes sincerely, he'll buy 10 times everything he has paid for now, showing his balance to the ex-classmate. The guy apologizes. Hyan pats his head and tells him that from now on he must be friendlier. That guy is interested in knowing what Hyan is doing with so much food. This one tells him it's none of his business, but he's preparing something big. The ex-classmate tells him that then the supermarket won't be enough. For that, he needs a wholesaler or something like that. And of course, he knows one. He mentions someone named Sam, another ex-school classmate, who is another ex and a wholesaler to boot. Later, the guy arrives, driving like crazy without worries, gets out of the car smoking like a madman who has no worries. He approaches. The other introduces them and brings him up to date, asking Sam if he remembers Hyan from high school. At first, he didn't remember, but then yes, he's that guy who had a bit of a backbone and refused to pay for protection. Sam looks at Hyan's unbranded clothes, hits the other guy, as they've made him waste his time with a poor boy. Hyan mocks the guy, calls him illiterate. That annoys him quite a bit. The other tries to mediate, says not to call him illiterate. That angers him a lot since he actually is illiterate, making them hit him again. But getting down to serious matters. The guy tells him that if he's not going to buy at least 2 truckloads of merchandise, he'll make both of them pay. Hyan shows him his account, surprising the guy as he has quite a bit of money. He asks what kind of products he's looking for. Hyan tells him rice, oil, salt, snacks, drinks, all kinds of food and beverages, everything. The guy tells him to follow him, thinking he'll scam Hyan with almost expired food. He takes him to the warehouse, tells him he'll give it to him with a 10% discount. Hyan looks at the products, notices that almost everything is expired. The guy didn't expect him to notice. Hyan tells him to offer him a 50% discount. He wants quality things, but even these almost expired products will be very useful to him. He'll take them with that 50% for the payment. He tells him, I'll complete the purchase within a month. The guy is suspicious. Hyan tells him not to worry, he'll put his house up as collateral. Even so, Sam asks why expired products. The protagonist touches his shoulder, tells him that even expired, these products will be worth a lot in a month, leaving the guy confused, thinking he's gone crazy. Hyan receives a call. Someone interested in buying his house is heading there. Not before telling that guy the address to which he must send the products. At his house, he meets a poor man who gathered $400,000 as a down payment for his house, and who will accept the condition that Hyan live there for 3 months. Hyan thinks how desperate that old man must be for a house, as he wants to buy it without inspecting it, asking him why he's in such a hurry. He tells him that, to be honest, his granddaughter needs a place to live in the city since she'll be going to school here. His situation is urgent. He has looked everywhere and only found this place for sale. Hyan tells him that being honest isn't so good. Now he could raise the price of the house. The old man gets scared, but Hyan won't do such a thing. He accepts the money and signs the contract. The old man is happy. They say goodbye, but before he leaves, Hyan stops him because he knows it will be hard for him to survive the zombie attack. He asks him where he and his granddaughter live. Then the construction. For now, the warehouse is almost ready, everything in order. Hyan then calls Sam to deliver the merchandise. Everything was organized inside, a huge amount of products, enough in fact for more than 10 years. With that, he has completed the new mission, obtaining 20 points. In the store, a new box has been enabled. He buys it for a value of 10 points, obtaining the mind's eye, one that allows him to know if the person in front of him is hostile. An interesting ability, and he also likes the fact of being able to have abilities. During the night at the black market, Hyan was looking for a certain dealer. When he hears a familiar voice, it's that guy, his ex's lover, who is there buying fake things for his girl. Of course, without knowing they are fake, Hyan doesn't plan to tell him anything. After a while, he finds what he was looking for. A weapons store. He approaches the guy, takes one of the knives, and asks if they have something stronger. The guy tells him that with those weapons it's more than enough. If he doesn't like it, he can look elsewhere. Hyan tells him he's looking for something really strong, but the guy asks if he's looking for trouble. Just then he receives a notification. $200,000 has been transferred to him. It's Hyan. So the guy, seeing that this is serious, calls another guy to watch the store and invites Hyan to a certain alley. Then they arrive at a house and he shows him a handmade revolver. But that's not what we're looking for, right? In fact, he's angry. He gave him an advance of $200,000 and he shows him that garbage. He really wants strong things and wants a lot of them. The guy agrees to what he wants. He just needs him to give him a list, and with that list he'll look for it and have it by the day after tomorrow. Hyan leaves. Upon exiting, he runs into the ex's lover, who starts questioning him for ignoring Kiwi. Moreover, he mocks the protagonist. Hyan will now use that mind's eye ability, seeing that the dealer's status is friendly while the lover's is hostile. Hyan mocks the lover and insults the ex, but this enrages the guy. So the dealer asks if they are acquaintances, but Hyan says no, rather that he's an enemy. Having said that, the dealer decides to take care of him. Of course, Hyan asks him not to kill him as he has plans for him later. 2 days later, as promised, he received what he asked for. A truck full of military-grade weapons, completing another of the system tasks, obtaining 10 points. Now with this, he has 20 plus an additional reward, a potion that doubles his physical strength. Well, more like a syringe. Upon injecting it, he feels his strength increase by 40%. He decides to use his other 20 points to buy more of those things. After a while, his strength has increased by 80%. The test, kicking a steel bar, bending it in half. After that, he absorbs with his ring all the weapons he has obtained. The day after tomorrow will be the first day of the apocalypse, so he thinks about what else he has to do and remembers. He must go for the old man and his granddaughter. He mocks himself because even after experiencing the apocalypse and being betrayed, he can't help but worry about others. So he thinks he won't go for them. He'll just go and give them supplies so they can survive for a while. But everything will depend on them. After that, the protagonist travels to the old man's location, a place quite difficult to find, and that is evidently lower class. He is there to give him the supplies, so he takes them out of the ring. Then he knocks on the door. The old man thought it was to collect the payment, so he opens the door saying he doesn't have the money yet, but next Monday he surely will. He is surprised to see Hyan and all those boxes, asking what. The protagonist tells him he'll explain later. For now, they must bring everything inside before the neighbors notice. After doing so, Hyan begins to explain that those supplies must be used wisely in the coming days, and with that they can last half a year. But that's when he notices something. The photo, the girl in the photo. She is his friend from his previous life, Chan Chan. He asks the old man if his granddaughter's name is Men Chan Chan. Well, it turns out yes, she is his granddaughter, and now Hyan understands something his friend always said. She blamed herself for her grandfather's death because he went to look for her at her school. Hyan tells the old man not to leave this house. He explains that starting tomorrow, the world will go to hell, everything will be death and destruction. So they must go for his granddaughter, but the old man doesn't understand anything he's talking about. Hyan asks him if he knows hunger and what hungry people are capable of doing. The old man says he knows it and knows well what hungry people do. But this world is peaceful and full of food. How could people be hungry? Hyan then decides to take another approach, given that convincing an old man is difficult. He absorbs all the supplies with his ring. That surprises the old man. The things are gone, everything is gone. What kind of magic is that? Hyan takes the opportunity to tell him he has powers and can see the future. Tomorrow the world will go to hell, so they must go for his granddaughter. Arriving later at the school where Chan Chan was being beaten up because a certain Sam was in love with her, and this crazy girl wants Sam to be with her. Even the other crazy girl's friend kicks her. They don't believe her when Chan Chan tells them she's not interested in that guy. Sam grabbing her by the hair, then Hyan and the girl's grandfather arrive, scolding the other for what they're doing. But some thugs block their way. The grandfather may be old, but he's not stupid. He lunges at 2 delinquents. The girl's grandfather and he swings a bat at the back of the old man's neck, but it's caught by Hyan, who can't believe that bastard tried to hit an old man in the neck. The others mock Hyan, but this one kicks the other effortlessly, sending him flying. The other 2 launch to attack him. Hyan dodges the bat, then grabs the guy's shirt and slams him against the floor, knocking him out. The other stabs, but Hyan deflects it effortlessly. He kicks his leg, causing his head to collide with the floor, also knocking him out. As for the crazy girls, he gives the girl a good slap. The second one he grabs by the hair, asks her if it's nice to have your hair pulled. Then he puts the knife to her neck, makes several cuts. The other 2 women are scandalized. He has destroyed her hair. The girl falls to her knees, swears she won't forgive him. Hyan tells her she'll thank him in a few days. The shorter the hair, the easier it will be to survive. She'll understand. Then he tells his friend they're leaving. Of course, she doesn't know him yet. But in the car, he explains everything, more or less, and nothing. She thinks that in fact her grandfather is being scammed. Hyan observes everything smiling. In this life, he will ensure his friend lives. He tells her that he was the one who told her about the famine. She asks who he is. Hyan introduces himself. She thanks him for the help, but that gang of people will pursue them. He assures her that in a few days, those people might not exist. The girl asks how reliable his source is, as how could there be a famine in times like these, she asks. He tells her that the term famine is just a term he used so her grandfather would understand. What's really coming is an apocalypse. He tells her that if she doesn't believe him, look at the news, but by this time the outbreaks should have already started. And upon doing so, she is surprised. Really, in the news, a guy supposedly with rabies bit another person. People talk about rabies here and there. In many videos, people out of nowhere biting and attacking others, even animals. He confirms to her that the signs of the apocalypse have begun. She is surprised. Hyan continues saying that tomorrow will be the first day. A toxic fog will cover the world, a fog that affects living beings. Gradually, a significant portion of people become zombies. Another large part will be devoured by these first ones and will also become zombies. Few will be saved. Once you die, you become a zombie. For old people, it's hard to understand, but they, being young, understand these terms. She still finds it incredible, but he assures her that tomorrow it won't be so much. Now on the way, they have run into a terrible traffic jam. Hyan's concern is that he doesn't know if outbreaks have started in this place. It's possible it has happened here, which would be a huge problem since they are trapped. But aside from that, more or less in 2 days, everything goes out of control. Just then, a driver in a luxury car gets impatient, tries to advance at all costs, hitting them. Hyan curses that damned reckless driver. He makes way. The guy ends up right next to his window. He wants to keep advancing, desperately honks his horn for Hyan to move, but the protagonist pays no attention. The grandfather thinks he's someone rich. Letting him pass to avoid trouble wouldn't be bad. But Hyan doesn't care. In fact, if that guy gets out to cause trouble, he'll send him to heaven. A while later, they have gotten out of the traffic jam, but the girl notices that the guy from before is pursuing them at full speed. He tries to get in their way. Hyan dodges and hits the rear of his car, causing the guy to lose control and crash. The guy gets out of the car injured, calls someone, says he's sending the video of the other car with the license plate and the owner's name. He won't let him go easily. He has taken them to the base he has built. It's a huge, well-protected place, but for now they have to go rest. The next day she had slept very well. Hyan wants to take the opportunity to show her the fortress. He explains that the walls are reinforced concrete. The doors can be controlled remotely and are pure steel, plus they are 3 centimeters thick. Whether people or zombies, and unless they bring a tank, it's very unlikely they'll get through. Now there is a rule. Except for them, no one can enter this place. She asks what happens if survivors come. Are they going to let them die? He tells her to follow him. He explains that everyone has a dark side. If you are too compassionate, it's the dark side that others will take advantage of to harm you. So he prepared a place for that. He says that if survivors come while he is not here, they can let them into this zone, an isolated area where they will have everything they need to survive, of course, for a while. But under no circumstances should they let them into the fortress. They understand. Now he will show her the food warehouse and show the foods that must be distributed in moderation. Once there, he analyzes their usefulness with his eye, noting that both are quite friendly. He shows them the weapons. It's one of the most important things in the apocalypse, and they must never let others take them from them. The old man understands this task well. The system gives him a new mission. He must join up with his old companions. One is missing. He must find him and will receive 20 points. It's great because it's something he already planned to do, so he sets out, remembering. He tells that dude that he'll go recruit the group members. In a nightclub, Hyan's friend was having a great time. But upon going out to the bathroom with a colleague, he bumps shoulders with a girl passing by with her partner. They apologize, but the girl's companion kicks him. The other guy asks why he hit him if he apologized, but that only angers the guy more as no one dares to answer him. He lifts the chubby guy while the girl enjoys it. Just then, another guy appears, a guard who feels quite sick but intervenes so things don't escalate, giving the duo a chance to flee. They get to where their other friends were, who get angry after hearing everything, as accepting humiliation isn't good for them. Of course, only one of the friends got like that. The other is a coward. Hyan's friend prefers they forget everything and just enjoy themselves. The fun continues. The problem is that guy doesn't think the same. He enters the room with a group. The other escapes quite beaten up, forcing the friend's group to squat down. That friend who had gotten angry says he wants to make a call, but they break a bottle on his head. Meanwhile, outside the club, Hyan finally arrives. After breaking the poor boy's head, this guy asks his toxic blonde if she's happy now, but she won't calm down until the one who bumped into her is punished. He prepares to do it, but the boy from before gets up out of nowhere, tries to hit him with an ashtray. Too bad he's grabbed by another of the bastard's henchmen. He gives him another bottle hit to the head, this time knocking him out. Hyan's friend lunges to hit the thug. Another of the boys is scared shitless, this coward. The situation quickly escalates into a fight, but there's a problem. That guy, the guard who felt sick, is turning into a zombie. He bites one of the thug's friends. Panic reigns in that place. That guy, for no reason, doesn't let go of the guy, then he bites another. Just then, Hyan arrives at the place. The thug thinks about how strong that young man who just appeared is, as here the guy was like a bull, but he with one arm has subdued him. The thug asks who the hell he is. Hyan speaks to his friend Sankai, asking if he has been bitten. He answers no. Hyan asks him to follow him. Of course, the thug wasn't going to allow it. Just then, the first one to be bitten starts to feel bad. The wound is getting infected. Hyan asks if he was bitten. Soon he will mutate. Hyan locks the zombie in a room, grateful that zombies still haven't learned to open doors. Then he asks Sankai. Hyan asks about those he needs to get rid of. His friend doesn't know him yet, so he's quite confused. Angry, the thug lunges to hit the arrogant Hyan, but he is easily subdued. Then that infected one attacks him, but the same thing happens. Hyan asks if anyone else wants to try his fists. The protagonist tells Sankai to go out with his friends and wait for him outside. The group wanted to leave, but Hyan wasn't going to allow it. He almost killed his brother, so he pushes him and locks him in. Inside, the infected one turns into a zombie and attacks them. A guard arrives asking what's going on. Hyan says to call the police. In that room are those affected by the rabies flu. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but Hyan tells him to do it and not open that door. Then he locks it with a key and his group leaves. The guards don't know what that young man was talking about. They never heard of that flu, so they'll go check the cameras. Upon doing so, they get scared. They are eating those human bodies, food for them. Outside, the group leaves. Hyan explains to them everything that is happening. Although it may not seem like it now, the first phase has begun. Soon everything will go to hell. There is no cure. This is an apocalypse. In fact, on the streets, you can already see zombies attacking. It's almost time for everything to go crazy. The system informs him that his mission has been completed, giving him 20 points. He doesn't know what to buy, but that apocalypse farmer's box looks interesting. Of course, he'll buy once they get to the lair. Now there's a problem. Sankai's friends, among them there is a possible traitor. In the case of his friend, he was the only survivor of the group. He told him how one of his friends betrayed them all and caused the death of several of them. But Hyan doesn't know which one it is. He wonders which of those bastards is the imposter. Meanwhile, Hyan's ex had seen the videos and the news. She is scared, too scared to go out. That's what she said on the phone. Someone knocks on her door, causing her to get even more scared. She goes to check who it is. It turns out to be her friend. So she opens. She informs her that old man Liu from the first floor was taken by the police and doctors. It was a commotion. It seems the rabies flu is spreading. Now the problem is that her lover hasn't given her supplies. So the friend thinks she must go to Hyan since he has a huge reserve of these, enough to be millionaires during the epidemic. And she knows because she sent people to watch that construction of his. The thing is, it's her best opportunity, the best opportunity to get rich and take everything from him. Now Sankai is surprised. That place is like a fortress. Hyan confirms it, and of course, that relationship is the same they all usually have. Just then the old man and the granddaughter arrive, asking if they are okay. He tells them yes, that now he has brought new members. He introduces Sankai and his friends. He entrusts the old man with explaining the rules to the boys and showing them the place. But one of them has a request. He asks that they give them weapons too to defend the place. And of course, who was it who asked for the weapons? Hyan explains that they shouldn't ask for weapons so anxiously. They just arrived and have to show they are trustworthy. Besides, they have no idea how to use them. Hyan tells them that in a few days he'll give them weapons, but for now they must understand that that boy's wounds look pretty bad. After a while they have taken a bath. That boy who wanted weapons asks the chubby guy why he stopped him before. If he hadn't, they would already have weapons, and given their situation, it's better to have them. They might be protecting them, or maybe they are kidnapping them. They saved their lives before, but of course they don't know the reason for it, and he doesn't swallow that story about being hired to do it. That boy thinks he must attack first before they attack them. The chubby guy says it's not right. If they are mistaken, what will they do? The guy says he prefers to betray the world before the world betrays him. That guy was the one who, in the middle of the nightclub fight, started crying in a corner while the others fought. The guy wants to attack and take control of the fortress since it's just that guy, an old man, and a girl, and he says that girl was very pretty. They could do things to her. The other two are really surprised and disgusted by their friend. But he quickly says it was all a joke, as he has noticed he has zero support. Of course, the other two are fools and swallow the tale. But we know that guy really wants to betray them. In the living room, the old man informs Hyan that the boys have settled in. The injured one's name is Chen Chong. Well, Chen Chong is stable, resting in the infirmary. All doors and windows have been secured according to his orders. Hyan thanks Old Man Bo and tells him to go rest, as he doesn't know what may happen tomorrow. But before leaving, he is told that they must watch San Kai's companions closely. Among them, he thinks there is a traitor. Hyan goes to check the store, takes the Apocalypse Farmer's box, then another supply box and another, obtaining a bunch of quite decent rewards, something that's great for an apocalypse. The next day, 3 cars stop in front of his fortress. People get out, people led by that rich guy who hit him before. He comes looking for trouble, although those idiots bring sticks and knives to a gunfight. They try to break down a pure steel door with sticks. Then he thinks of throwing a Molotov cocktail inside the fortress. Our group goes out to put out the fire. Hyan and the old man come out armed. They go up to the watchtower. From there, they recognize the imbecile who almost killed them on the road. They also manage to see the old man and the protagonist. They challenge him to come out so they can burn his face. Hyan tells him he has 5 minutes to disappear, otherwise he will make him disappear. They are not willing to leave. They shout if he knows who their boss is. The system gives him a new mission: eliminate the threats. The old man asks if they should shoot to scare them, but nothing doing. They have already attacked them and are willing to burn them alive, so to the old man's surprise, Hyan shoots and blows that guy's arm off. He screams like crazy. Hyan actually missed the shot. He's rusty. He aimed for the head. Those seeing they have weapons run away, but Hyan isn't finished. The old man opens fire and sends them all to meet St. Peter. Only 4 survive, or well, almost, because Hyan quickly changes the magazine and shoots the vehicle, killing everyone inside. Old Man Bo is surprised, as am I, because I expected this story to be one of those where the protagonist doesn't directly kill anyone, but well, I'm glad he does. Old Man Bo is surprised by his way of shooting and reloading. It's as if he's used to it. It reminds him of his time in the army, although he wasn't that good. He was going to send San Kai's group to clean up, but since they are in the early stages of the apocalypse, he prefers to let the dead mutate into zombies so his group can practice target shooting. Now, the thing is that his ex's lover and she arrive at the place to try to take control of everything. You know, they'll try to get him to open the doors. Not far away, there's a group of thugs waiting. Of course, the friend complains about being dragged into this, but the ex brings her by the clothes she wears. She knows well that she wants to stay in the car to seduce her lover. Come on, friends don't trust each other. She comes across that scene, the massacre. All dead, that scares her. Maybe they should leave. But considering the blood, Kiwi says, it seems they died a while ago and maybe Hyan isn't alive. Of course, as they advance, one of them, that guy, starts turning into a zombie. The crazy girls knock on the door. Even so, they are seen from the watchtower. He asks who they are and what they want. The girl introduces herself as Hyan's girlfriend and is there to see him. The girl goes to get him and the girl thinks he's cheating on her with her. Hyan arrives. He asks what they are doing there. Then he uses the mind's eye, noting the status of those 2 crazy girls who act as if they are affectionate. Hyan mocks. They say they are worried about him, but he knows that's garbage. Her lover must be around waiting for the doors to open. She is surprised, as how does he know that? Then he shoots at their feet. The girl curses him. How dare he shoot at her? He mocks. He didn't want to kill them. That would be too easy for them. The zombies get up. Hyan wants to see how they eat them. The girls run away, dodging the zombies. Kiwi goes behind. Her high heels don't let her run well. She's going to be caught by the zombies. The other crazy girl cries. The lover notices the sick people and orders a retreat. Kiwi, seeing she's going to die, does something incredibly expected of her. She trips her friend, causing her to fall, and she is eaten alive to give her time to escape. Her friend curses her, tells her she won't have a good death. Meanwhile, she is devoured. Kiwi runs and laughs like crazy, repeating that she deserved it over and over. The truth is that she did deserve it, but Kiwi too. Hyan has completed another mission. He already wants a new one. He must clear the streets of those zombies. His friend asks if they just turned into zombies out of nowhere. He explains that the air is full of a large amount of alien pathogens. The dead who are exposed outdoors get infected and mutate. Even the injured, only they are of weak body. She understands. He tells her that now they will have a meeting. He explains to the group that in the next 2 days they must keep all windows and doors closed. They must let their bodies adapt to the air infection. That will greatly reduce their risk of mutation. San Kai asks about his other friend, the one in the infirmary who is clearly infected. In the city, everything was chaos. People had already panicked, looting and violence everywhere. From a building where the guy who sold the nearly expired merchandise was, Hyan observed the chaos. This guy was taking care of his family. The thing is, they almost have no supplies, so he must go for more at the warehouse, giving instructions to his wife not to open the door to anyone. Just then, someone knocks on his door. He approaches with a golf club, hears the voice of his colleague, so confidently opens the door but is quickly hit. Held by a group of men led by his ex-friend. The wholesaler demands they release him. They're supposed to be friends, and he treated him well. But Tao mocks. He never treated him well, he was just a lackey to him. The other guy tells him that with him, he managed to save for the down payment on his house, but Tao is resentful. While he barely managed to save for the down payment on one house, the other made profits enough to buy several. So he must stop pretending they were great friends. He must give him the supplies, or otherwise, well, he grabs the guy's wife by the hair, and the son who tries to defend his mother, he hits. The guy gets upset, but Tao tells him that if he cooperates, his wife and son will be fine. Given no choice, the guy guides them to the warehouse, but there isn't much left there. Everything there is almost spoiled food, since Tao himself got him that big client to whom they sold almost everything. Tao remembers, Hyan, he took it, so he must locate him and get all the supplies. The wholesaler says he advises him to stay away from him. The last time he saw him, that boy was armed to the teeth. He probably already knew this was going to happen and prepared in advance. Tao answered that that will be his problem, as he will be the one to go claim his supplies. Otherwise, his wife and son, well, back at the base, they were in front of San Kai's friend who had turned into a zombie. That one who is obviously the traitor says to kill him. Hyan looks at him. San Kai scolds him. What the hell is he saying? The guy argues that he is already dead, and if released, he would be dangerous. The chubby guy responds that he is one of theirs, a brother. They should try to help him. Hyan responds that he is right. There is almost no chance of a cure. He takes out a knife and hands it to the coward, tells him to do it, to kill him. Hyan tells him he always wanted a weapon, so here is yours. Take it and put him out of his misery. But the knife is taken by San Kai. He says he will do it. Hyan asks if he is sure of that. Moreover, what if what he said before about there being no cure is a lie? And besides, from the moment he kills him, he will be a murderer. But San Kai responds that he trusts Hyan's words. He smiles and allows him to do it. He approaches, but at the moment he was going to do it, Hyan stops him. San Kai doesn't know why, but Hyan's system just informed him that that boy is a rare mutated variant. So Hyan wants to test something. He takes everyone out of the room, stays alone with the guy. He calls him by his name. He responds with growls but reacted to his name. That's what's important. So Hyan tells him he has a special task for him. Not far away, the wholesaler escapes in a car. The problem is he ends up crashing. He gets out of the same car a bit beaten up, but he has been lucky. He almost made it. The problem is that, of course, a zombie appears. It attacks him, biting his arm. He pushes it away. He runs the car, takes a crowbar, and bashes the zombie. The problem is more are approaching, so he decides to head towards the fortress. There, Hyan's group was going out. His friend complains about all the equipment they are carrying. It's annoying and hinders their movements. Hyan responds that it's for their protection. Once she gets used to fighting, she can take it off. They are going to practice. They clear the area of zombies, finding the first one. It attacks them. He asks them to remember what he has taught them and to always watch their backs. Hyan dodges the zombie. The chubby guy swings a sword, hits it in the head, but only managed to feel a cramp. Hyan tells him their heads are quite strong. What Xiao Kai just did is the perfect example of what not to do. The zombie lunges at him. He manages to block it with his sword, asks for help. Hyan congratulates him on his defense. San Kai hits the neck of that thing, breaking it. Another zombie stalks them. San Kai is the one who notices. He warns Hyan, but he already knew. He takes it by the head effortlessly and tells him never to lower his guard. It's one of the most important rules. Not far away was the wholesaler. He wonders if Hyan is alive. Then he hears his voice and sees his group massacring zombies. But under his feet, under that vehicle, was that zombified girl. She grabs his leg, pulls him, and lunges at him. Before he is bitten a second time, Hyan appears and crushes the crazy girl's head. The guy gets her off him. Hyan asks Sam what he is doing there. He greets him, surprised he is alive. Hyan notices his bitten arm, points at his head, and tells him he has been bitten. Sam begs him not to shoot. He has something to tell him. He just has to listen. Hyan allows him, he explains. He already knows he is infected and that one day he will be like those things. But that bastard Tao has kidnapped his son and wife. He uses them to blackmail him. He threatens to do terrible things to them if he doesn't get Hyan's supplies. He knows he is not a noble person, but he never did something as terrible as that. His wife and children are innocent, and those animals won't let them go. Their fate will be worse than his own. He begs him, please, for all the supplies he helped him get to help them. Hyan thinks he certainly was a scammer, but he was useful in getting a huge amount of supplies. His fortress has quite a capacity. They also have many more men than women. It's a bit unbalanced. So bringing his wife and child isn't bad. Even the system gives him the mission with a recruitment. Even the system gives him the mission with a reward of 25 points. As for the other mission of clearing the street, it's at 70%. He responds to Sam not to worry, he will go for his wife and child. This one thanks him from the heart, tells him that in his next life he will be his loyal servant. Now he asks him to do it to end his life. He doesn't want to be a monster. He could be dangerous for his family if he becomes that. Hyan tells Chan to bring a bicycle for the guy. He tells him to go to an isolated place. He asks why and what for, but Hyan tells him to trust and do as he says. With no more time, he accepts. Then he speeds away. A while later, all nearby zombies were annihilated, piled up, and now they will be burned. The mission has been completed. Hyan has 28 points. He tells the group that with what they have learned today, they are quite capable of killing individual zombies, but they must still stay away from groups of zombies and even more from hordes. Now they must follow him. He calls Old Man Bo. Old Man Bo puts on the key to the weapons depot. He will go to the city. Old Man Bo is worried. He'll go and it must be chaos. The others want to go except the coward. Of course, but Hyan says it's not necessary and that Old Man Bo stays in charge. He gets in his car where he checks the system store that hasn't updated yet, so he renews it manually. There are 3 boxes, one of technology, one lifesaver, and one armed deterrent. The first costs 20 points, the second and third 4. He has paid 2 points to manually renew that store. Now it costs double if he wants to do it again. So he'll be careful with that. He takes that technology box, obtaining an improved serum that increases his physical strength by 5 points. He puts it on. With that injection, Hyan is a 260% improved human. Meanwhile, in that guy's house, the wholesalers, the woman tries to calm her son. But just then, those bastards enter. Tao is there to have fun with her. They were serious about doing dirty things to her. But luckily, another guy arrives who asks them what the hell they are doing. He is a certain Lee. They invite him to join them, but Lee tells them to go to hell. The job isn't ready yet, so they should leave the woman alone. The guy tells him it's not the first time they do something like that. But Lee warns them that if they do it and the woman dies along with the child or something like that, that guy will have nothing to lose. He will confront them to the end, and things will get complicated. They obey, but the despicable Tao assures the woman he will be back. Hyan was in his car analyzing his new capabilities. Upon putting on that injection, he has the strength of almost 3 men together. The stamina and even his reflexes and control increased. It's incredible. He stops near the city since driving further would be suspicious if they see him. He prefers to continue on foot. Immediately, he is attacked by a couple of zombies, but Hyan controls them easily. Then he summons a sword. In an instant, he cuts those zombies down. He is clearly stronger and faster than a normal human. Even his hearing is superior, as he can hear people in danger from 800 meters away. Some zombies are banging on the door of a store. Inside, there is a group of people, a lady, a policeman, a boy, and his father. The boy is really scared, which annoys the policeman as his noise doesn't help in nothing. His father can do little. He doesn't know what to say. Besides, if this continues, they will really die. But there is a strange noise. The zombies are dying. They are being annihilated by someone or something. The policeman asks them to move things to the side, but without doing anything. Upon looking outside, there is a massacre. The boy, with his wonderful imagination, thinks that a stronger variant of the zombies did it all. The others don't understand what he's talking about, so he explains to them. The policeman tells them they must leave that place. They stop. They have run into Hyan, who receives a system reward for having saved those people. The boy believes Hyan is the mutant, and he already mocks the boy's imagination. The policeman, seeing another normal person, is amazed. He tells him that being alone is dangerous, so it's better he goes with them. Hyan asks if it's just them. The policeman says no, they went out for supplies, but there are more civilians at the Ron's and Hyan Garden. They ask him to accompany them because they'll be safer there. Hyan agrees to accompany them since that garden isn't very far from where he needs to go. They think that maybe he's accepting easily because he's looking for someone, a girlfriend or a relative. They tell him there's a high probability that person is dead. It's already lucky to survive the zombies. But if it's not them, it's those damned animals. Hyan asks what animals he's referring to, and the policeman tells him that a gang of thugs has entrenched themselves in the mountain. They kill everyone who moves, people or zombies. They ran into them once, and they killed several from the group. The policeman tells him that whenever he runs into other people, he must keep his guard up high. But a zombie appears. The boy yells at him to be careful. There's no time for the policeman. Well, his training has saved him, as 2 quick, accurate shots to the head solved the problem. Now the shots attract more living dead. They are surrounding them. He notices a bus and directs everyone there. Hyan smiles. That officer's decision-making is good. Of course, there are advantages and disadvantages to going to a bus. For example, defending it is relatively easier, but if they manage to get in, they're screwed because the space isn't enough. He gives him a 7 out of 10 for his quick choice. Once inside, they are surrounded. The policeman tries to close the door but can't. Hyan helps him with one hand. That young man has a lot of strength. Hyan tells him to go to the window and defend from there. He will protect the door. From the window, the group starts killing zombies. Their way of doing it is very dangerous, so Hyan tells them to use this, a crossbow. Of course, they wonder where the hell it came from, but with that weapon, it's much easier. After a while, all the zombies are dead. That kid is half crazy. He says they have survived. Surely they are the chosen ones. Hyan warns them not to make the same mistakes. Meanwhile, at the hideout, the coward says he will keep watch tonight. The other asks why he's so anxious, but that guy yells at him not to get involved and to worry about himself. So he better walks away from his crazy friend. Old Man Bo agrees and sends the others to their rooms. While everyone is already asleep, that coward gets moving. He must do it before Hyan returns. He goes to Old Man Bo's room. He clearly wants the key. When he's about to take it, the old man wakes up and asks what he's doing, but he quickly receives a punch to the head. Even so, he doesn't fall and alerts the others, who come out of their rooms. The old man tells them everything he did and they start chasing him. He throws obstacles, enters the room where they have his zombie friend tied up, and thinks of releasing him so the others can't follow. The zombie frees itself. It's as if they had left it untied. That works for him too, so he lets it out. Everyone curses. No one imagined that young man was such a son of a bitch. The old man goes for the zombie. They must be careful. They go after the zombie. They hold him, subdue him, and take him back to the infirmary. Of course, everyone notices something strange. It was very easy to subdue that zombie, almost as if he let himself be subdued. Old Man Bo curses. They've wasted time. That brat must already be armed. And yes, he appears with a mini-Uzi in his hand, and he's also angry. There was only that weapon in the armory, but it's enough to finish all of them. He threatens them and says they must move to the back room. Sankai asks what the hell he's doing if he plans to betray Hyan. That kid is full of envy and resentment toward the protagonist. Old Man Bo says he is simply disgusting. The zombie observes everything with clearly human intelligence and starts walking toward the door. Back with Hyan, they have told him how to get to the place he's going. They tell him that once he finds who he's looking for, he should go with them to the garden. The Hyans will be waiting for him. Hyan thanks them and leaves. Meanwhile, they debate whether they should help him, but it's better they return. They might run into a horde. Of course, it's a shame because that young man is thinking of them, heading to certain death. Meanwhile, the group of scumbags thinks Sam has failed, so they impatiently want to go do things to his wife. The other guy won't get involved anymore. He just tells him not to kill her. At that moment, he notices something strange. All those zombies are dead, but since when? He goes out to take a look, but a serious mistake, friend. As soon as he sticks his head out, it was cut off. Inside the room, those cowards were about to do their unrestrained evil. They separate the child from the mother, hit her, throw the boy out of the room. It was just at that moment that the headless body fell on the other side, scaring the child. Hyan appeared. Inside, the pig hits the lady because she screams too much for his liking. The other prepares to start. The door is flung open. Immediately, another loses his head. The guy is grabbed by the face, thrown to the side. They will keep him for later. As for the other, he is kicked in the face. At the same time, at the hideout, the traitor points his weapon at the group. They must obey him because he has a weapon. The guy was going to shoot Old Man Bo, but just then, noises are heard from the infirmary. Then the doorknob is turned. The zombie Chen Chong turned into a zombie. Well, that guy has used a key. It's surprising for a zombie. Hyan gets close to the traitor, who tries to shoot him but realizes that weapon has no bullets, or at least not real ones. Chen Chong lunges at him, throws him to the ground, and starts pulling out his guts. Still alive, while that guy screams and screams in pain, he begs. Hyan drags him inside the room, where he continues torturing the poor wretch. Others are confused. Hyan throws them the key and then locks the door. The two are scared. Hyan calls the boy. She asks what he's going to do to him. Hyan calls him again. The boy obeys the protagonist and tells his mother he'll be okay. Hyan hands him a knife and tells him to kill them. Those two beg for their lives. The mother begs him not to make him do that. He's just a child. Hyan explains to the boy that he is the only man who can protect his mother, so he must gather the courage to do it. The boy remembers what they tried to do to his mom, fills with courage with tears in his eyes. Hyan gives him several cuts. He kills that pair. His mother, wow, the mother is surprised by what her son was capable of. The little one, who isn't stupid, asks Hyan if they killed his father. Hyan tells him yes. Mother and son cry. She asks him to take the child to a safe place. The little one doesn't want to leave her alone. Hyan tells him he will take both of them because he promised their father Sam he would look after them. It was the boy who is surprised by the zombie massacre, asking who did it, who is so strong to kill so many zombies. Hyan tells him it was him, which amazes the boy. The protagonist asks them to stop. He hears something. He asks the lady how far Building 8 of the Rosham Garden is. In that building, a group of people wanted to enter, supposedly to help everyone. What they really want is to take the women under 40, and to the rest, they say they will give them food. The policeman knows they won't keep their word. They'll kill everyone except the young women once they enter. And them, well. One girl thinks about it, but another refuses. She won't be a sexual toy for anyone. The policeman tells them not to give up. Those guys aren't desperate. Soon he says they'll run out of supplies and have to come out. Once that happens, they'll take everything they want. Not far away are Hyan and the mother-son duo. Hyan advances and aims. Inside the building, the policeman looks for a way to see what's happening, but he hears a shot and ducks. The ones outside are surprised. One of theirs has lost half his head. They take cover. The policeman looks surprised at Hyan clearing out the guys one by one. They counterattack, but they're pretty bad at shooting. Hyan forces them to take cover, and when they come out to shoot, he puts more holes in them than a turkey at Christmas. The guy realizes he has run out of bullets, laughs, and takes the chance to come out. But Hyan is already near him. He dodges the shot, grabs his arm, puts his own gun against the guy's head, and then pulls the trigger. They have killed everyone outside. Upon entering the building, there are 3 waiting. He realizes it, and in an instant gets rid of them too. He asks the others to come out. The system mission is to recruit at least 5 people from that shelter. But first, he asks who they are. The policeman tells him they are part of the scum he talked about before, the ones from the mountains south of the city. He calls 2 who are just from that area and asks them to tell Hyan about that place. They tell him they are a group of evildoers. They took over the villa and the mountain, and the vast majority of survivors from that place are subjugated by them. Hyan remembers that place is where in his previous life Kui and her damned lover were. Maybe it's them. Hyan asks if it's the only settlement on that side of the mountain. They answer that originally it wasn't, but with their superiority in weapons, they absorbed all the others. They are scum. They kill without hesitation, and every time they take a place, they kill half the people, especially the men. Then they take the most beautiful women and the young men willing to obey them. Hyan has no doubts. The policeman asks what he means, and Hyan tells the officer to take those people's weapons. Furthermore, he gives him the AK with 5 magazines because those people will surely want revenge and they'll have to defend themselves. So they'll have to hold out for at least 2 days until he returns for them and they confront those damned people. The kid asks if he plans to fight them. There are many of them, all armed. They might even be more now. The policeman thinks the same. It's better to leave and get a head start in kilometers looking for another city. Hyan says he has a personal fight with those people. He'll return in a few days with large vehicles and take them to the west side. The area of the old market. He has his fortified base there and could use more people. They accept. Hyan leaves with the lady and her boy. At the mountain villa, a group of people were gathered. This redhead who is the boss asks if they still haven't gotten the supplies from the city. The wretched lover says he already sent people for that. They'll be back soon. Another says to the redhead, whose name is Wen, that the Jinju mansion has many high-class women. They should go for them. The lover agrees, but the redhead is somewhat annoyed because the lover hasn't completed any task yet. He assures him he will do it no matter what. But upon leaving, he is actually angry. He asks if the 7 he sent returned. The other sent people to check, but it turns out they were all killed. The lover can't believe it. He sends for all the men he has left who can handle weapons. He must not fail. Hyan arrives at the base and is received by his colleagues. His new mission is to take responsibility, whatever that means. Noticing the coward is missing, Hyan says, "So it was him." The others ask if he always knew. Hyan sends the mother and the little one to a room. San Kai will guide them. Then he will meet with them in the infirmary and explains. He wasn't entirely sure about that coward, but he suspected he was trash. Moreover, the bullets the weapon had were rubber. As for the boy in the infirmary, old man Bo asks. Hyan says he is a strange zombie, a mutant. Before, he asked him if he understood what he said and asked him to respond with blinks. He responded correctly. He explains to them that it's not 100% strange, but mutant zombies are few. The thing is, mutants tend to be stronger and more intelligent. Even some of them have memories of their past. But Chen Chong is exceptionally rare among the rare. He even greets them. Hyan asked him to end the traitor's suffering because Chen Chong was still keeping him alive. San Kai asks the zombie, then he attacks, scaring San Kai and having fun with his reaction, just like he was in life. Now in his room, Hyan had achieved several things, like managing to have a mutant companion. So he has gathered system points, about 46 points. He checks the store where a level 2 technology box appears. He gets excited. It's the first level 2 he has seen. The thing is, it costs 50 points, so he'll first buy the other 2 and then get points for that one. With the Lifesaver box, he gets the interdimensional infection blocker that has a probability of blocking infections but cannot reverse completed mutations. That is, if you are bitten, maybe it can help you in the moment. The other gives him a weapon. It gives him a blessed M82 bar, a special sniper rifle. That amuses him. If a level 1 weapons box just gave him something so powerful, what will a level 2 or 3 or something like that give him? Now his goal is to complete the current mission of recruiting the 5 survivors from the garden, thus getting the points and buying the level 2 box. The next day he starts practices. Every day for an hour they will practice shooting. Then he tells Old Man Bo to gather them to clean the other area for the new people. As for Chen Chong, he should go with him. They arrive at a bus where Chen Chong clears the path and the bus itself. But he must make sure to put on the mask upon arrival at the garden so as not to scare the people. At the villa base, Q's lover gets into the vehicles. They head toward the garden agent. Hyan and Chen Chong set off, running over any zombies they encounter. As for the garden people, they hear vehicles. The boy thinks it's Hyan, but the policeman tells them to be silent. Upon looking, they realize it's them. This time, everyone is armed, but even so, they shouldn't let their guard down. And the policeman goes up to the roof from where he has a better view for shooting. Those imbeciles approach and open fire on the building without a word. The lover takes a megaphone and is about to speak, but at that moment, boom, first blood, boom. From the roof, the policeman is finishing them off. The guys take cover. There's a sniper. They didn't expect it. Supposedly, they only had pistols according to their spy, and the ones they killed only carried pistols. One asks the lover what they will do. He says to retreat. The desperate guy runs without waiting for the signal and is taken down. They are imbeciles, says the lover. The retreat is all together. He counts to 3 and gives the order. Of course, it was a trick of his. His lackeys fall one by one. He did that to wait for them to run out of bullets and be able to run without danger. When he thinks that's the case, he runs out, but the policeman has 5 more magazines. He opens fire. Even so, several, including the lover, manage to escape. On the way, Hyan runs into the lover's vehicle, except he doesn't know it's him who is in there, and he focuses on getting to the place he's going, noting that the rifle he gave them was indeed helpful. Chen Chong went out to see the bodies and the others. He has his memories, but his zombie instincts are quite strong. Hunger calls him. Hyan gives him permission to eat those bodies because it's better him than other zombies. The thing is, upon eating, his eyes change from the typical blue color to an intense red. The little one from the window recognizes the protagonist. Everyone goes out to greet him and come down to receive him. Hyan asks the policeman, and Hyan gives permission to all those guys. He tells him yes, that rifle he left is quite useful. Moreover, in his service as a soldier, he was a good sniper. At that moment, they hear a roar. Chen Chong approaches them. The policeman is about to shoot, but Hyan stops him, saying he's one of theirs. The policeman distrusts him. Hyan gives instructions to our zombie friend about where to find another corpse. The policeman is surprised and asks if he can talk to zombies. Hyan says no, he's not an ordinary zombie, but it's hard to explain. Chen tells him that when he finishes eating, he'll wait for him on the bus. A while later, he finished. He puts on the mask himself. That surprises the boy. He says it's pretty cool. The zombie has put on the muzzle himself. Chen gets on, tilting the bus with his weight, which quite surprises the policeman. Then Chen hands the mask key to Hyan. Indeed, Chen just spoke, somewhat clumsy, but he does it. Hyan didn't expect it. He even repeats some things the protagonist himself says. It's as if by eating, his body is evolving. Q's lover informs his colleague about what had happened. They were annoyed. They didn't believe that about them having a rifle or something like that. They even hit him and then kick him out of the room. The lover leaves. The others discuss what they will do with that loser. Perhaps they should take advantage of his losses. Of course, that means taking the women who accompany him. The others agree, although they must do it with a clear head. And everything was heard by the lover, who had stayed there hidden. Hyan was totally angry. Qi tries to calm him down. The lover tells her to hurry. They must escape. This place is no longer safe. He calls the few subordinates he has left. He tells him to gather the remaining men. Tonight at midnight, they must escape. Of course, everything was heard by Qi, who puts on a face that she's going to betray him. At the base, Hyan has arrived with those people. He completed the mission and gets points. Now he has a total of 66 points. Upon getting off, Hyan tells Chen Chong that tomorrow they will go to the mountain. The cop asks what for, and they get the personnel ready to deal with those people. He takes them to their room and then proceeds to open those level 2 boxes, hoping it will be something great. That box hasn't been bad at all. It gave him another one of those injections, this time one that improves him by 20 points. Upon applying it, it's incredible. He is stronger than 6 average men. His reflexes also increase to the point that he can voluntarily hold a mosquito by its legs and release it without a problem. The next day, the officer was practicing shooting. Hyan approaches and tells him he will leave for the other side of the city. He has a favor to ask him. Since he is quite good with weapons, he wants him to teach the others to shoot. The officer accepts. Hyan and Chen Chang take off in the bus. Now, during the previous night, right at midnight, the lover was preparing to escape with what remained of his forces. The problem is they are intercepted. It's those guys, clearly accompanied by Kiwi. The lover tries to act as if he knows nothing about anything, but those guys don't buy it. They have his trusted man. One of theirs recognizes him. The lover hits him, says he doesn't know who he is or what's happening. The guys open fire, killing all his companions. Only he remains alive. He tries again to say he doesn't know what's happening or why they're doing this. But the guy tells him to look carefully in the car to notice who is there. It's when the poor imbecile notices Kiwi all cozy with that other guy, although clearly nervous. The guy asks his boss how they should handle him. He says to kill him. Thrown, hanged, that lover, not much later, runs into this zombified guy. He only regrets not having killed him himself. He cuts him down, cutting the rope, and tells him he'll help him take revenge. At the mansion, Kiwi was there. Well, these guys want me to close the channel, you already know. Of course, it wasn't what she wanted. The guys have tied her up to take advantage of her. She asks them to untie her. She has made a great contribution, but no way. The guys won't have mercy on her. At that moment, that guy hears a noise and wonders what that was. That guy has noticed that his henchmen are dead. When he wanted to warn the boss, his neck was cut by Hyan. The boss asks who it is. Kiwi recognizes him. Hyan, without a word, throws his knife and kills the other one too. Kiwi greets him and asks what he plans to do. Hyan mocks her. He tells her he wants to see her lover's reaction when he sees her. She tells him that Chun Lion, or whatever his name was, is dead. But he opens the door and this zombified guy enters angrily, biting her on the neck. And so died the wretch. Chen Chang eats the corpses from outside. Hyan hears more people who are prisoners of those guys. They are planning to kill the people to eat them. The chef doesn't want the skinny ones. He wants to eat that chubby guy. The mother tries to defend him but can't do anything. She begs for help, but the others are afraid. At that moment, a noise is heard. They prepare. One goes to check. He is quickly grabbed by the neck and taken inside. The others, scared, shoot. Chen Chang enters through the window and breaks the chef's neck. Then, without much trouble, he kills the others. The people think they will now be attacked by him. Hyan enters. Chen Chang got ahead of him. He's very fast. Chen Chang tells him it was cool and elegant, surprising everyone. The zombie has spoken. Hyan calms everyone down. They are scared of the zombie. The girl tells him she doesn't trust him because once she saw one like that, it wiped out the whole group without problems. Hyan asks where. The mother tells him at the decorations market. Yes, there is a mutant. They should really appear in 2 months. Chen Chang asks what they're talking about. Hyan tells him that just like him, a rare mutant, they are zombies whose memories vary in quality and quantity, but they are there, making them more intelligent, more dangerous. Their way of hunting is planned. Most are irrational in behavior. Few retain great intelligence. Chen Chang asks if he will go crazy. Hyan assures him he won't, and now they will take those people. The survivor tells him that in the basement there might be more people. Death is a massacre. Hyan can't believe it. They have killed a lot of people. Even if it was to eat them, it's an excess of purpose. He would never eat that much meat. He wonders if perhaps they were feeding zombies or something like that. A guy tells him that normally the murdered are sent from another place to here. Hyan is surprised, but not because of that. It's because of the new mission whose objective is to expand the community. He must improve its score and will get a 20-point reward. Currently, his community is level 2. There is a transport mission for the captives. Chen eliminates the guards. Inside, there are mainly women who were used for what you already know. They hear the noises, get scared, and think they're coming again. But it's Hyan who is there to rescue them. The group follows him. One of the girls asks if he will take them to a safe place. Hyan responds yes, but to be there they will have to work. Everyone happily accepts. He takes them until they reach the base. He explains to them that they won't enter the base per se because he must show they are trustworthy. The group will stay in the place near the base. It's not as protected but is quite comfortable and safe regarding zombies. With time there will be renovations and they can improve the conditions. Now the next day this annoyed girl heads to the villa that Hyan left completely empty because no one is responding to her. She thinks something isn't right, and upon arriving she runs into that zombified trio. They attack her, but in an instant she defeats the lover zombie and then gets rid of the other two. Her companion tells her the butcher is dead. Now they don't know what to do with the meat. She says they will handle it themselves, but they must find the one who did this. She is going to kill him. They haven't found a single survivor in the entire base. They decide to load all the human meat onto the truck, but while doing so, she notices something: tire tracks. She has found her first clue. At the base, Hyan asks what that about increasing the community level is. They have no idea. It probably has to do with the amount of population he has. But if that's the case, he has no problems. Thanks to the show-off from before who underestimated him and mentioned these lands, they are quite extensive, so he can have quite a few people. On the other hand, he will go investigate that weird creature they told him about. He goes down to the side where those people are, and upon seeing him, they greet him happily. He is their savior. He asks the woman about the monster she mentioned. She gives him the location and that an instant knows if it has destroyed her whole group. His own people think there's no need to fight that thing because they have plenty of supplies. At the supermarket where the mutant is, Hyan says he can't just leave it alive. It's a threat to everyone's security. The woman begs him not to go. That thing kills before you can blink. Hyan isn't worried. He sends for Chen Chong. In that place where the mutant is, a group of 7 survivors advance. One is happy. They have found that big supermarket. But the woman, who is very sensible, tells him to stay calm. The bigger the place, the more zombies there are, and they must clean it well. The supermarket at least attracts the attention of those making noise there. The zombies bite the floor, are annihilated. They aren't as many as they expected. What the group doesn't notice is that they are being stalked. The supermarket certainly has quite a few provisions. It even has beds. They think they have finally made it, and all the men go out to relax. They talk about how to defend. That place is full of entrances. Zombies could get in, even hostile people, without them realizing. But that guy is killed without knowing it. The other runs to warn about the monster, yells for them to run, but quickly also dies and is split in 2. The others try to flee. One by one they fall. The woman is near the exit. But to her bad luck, she trips. She is crying, but in front of her appears another zombie, this time Chen Chong. The aunt believes she will be attacked, but Chen doesn't even look at her. A voice tells her not to fear. She recognizes him. Hyan also recognizes her. She is the land seller from the other time. Well, the aunt panics. She must leave. There's a monster there, Hyan knows. He tells her not to worry. He has come for it. The zombie says something to Chen Chong. He asks him if he wants to keep all the glory for himself. Hyan asks if he can defeat him. Chen says he will try, that the zombie is quite intelligent. But that doesn't prevent the fight from starting. The zombie attacks him and wonders if eating a mutant like Chen Chong would make him evolve faster. But Chen hits him in the mouth with a punch, planting his head on the floor. When he was about to get up, Chen takes the chance to kick him, but it was dodged. That thing went to the ceiling and lunges at Chen. Hyan says catching him now was the best decision. Later, that thing would have been a big problem. He invokes a weapon with his ring, which surprises the girl. He tells Chen to hold him. Hyan shoots, piercing the thing's skull. It doesn't fall. He only hurt it. Hyan fills it with bullets everywhere until he leaves it as shit, although that thing still hasn't died. Hyan tells Chen Chong to eat it while they go empty the entire supermarket. And he takes care of the previous corpses so they don't mutate into zombies. Meanwhile, that chick and her group had found Hyan's base and all the people who live there. There are many, which makes her quite happy. The only problem is that the factory is a fortress. So they will carry out a stealth attack, then regroup and kill those who are useless to them. They will take what they want, including people, then leave. On the way, they run into Hyan, who notices the car. The system gives him a new mission. It warns him that now he has a nemesis. He must resist the invasion. The reward will be 50 points. Hyan isn't stupid. It has to be that woman he saw in the car. He arrives at the base and asks the girl who was on watch if she has seen anyone recently. She informs him there was a car in that direction. Hyan orders everyone to gather. In a place south of the city, there is a group of people. They were following a radio broadcast that said the coal plant settlement was safe. They arrived at the same time as the crazy woman's car. She asks if they heard the transmission. They confirm it. The guys look at the chick's body, accept her compliments and words. The guys don't trust her. They enter the plant with full confidence. Here, the guy asks to go to the bathroom. She accompanies him to guide him. The guy tells her he knows what she's thinking, so she should go to him. He will please her in many ways, but the chick stabs him through the throat with her knife. She thought she had caught something interesting. The other friends of the guy are also dead. At the base, Hyan explained the situation. They are going to be attacked. He doesn't know who they are, but the attack is imminent. They clean the unfinished building to the southwest to put the refugees there so they won't be hit by bullets or used as hostages. Everyone volunteers for various tasks. Even that child wants to join the battle. The seller too, so they went to the place, cleared it of zombies, and no one was hurt. The refugees didn't want to stay there. They wanted to help him fight. Hyan says first they should settle in this place, then he will send them supplies and water. At the coal mine, the boss's reinforcements have arrived. That big guy seems to be the one who eats all the human meat. The blonde asks if the job was easy. She informs them that tomorrow they will go to war. She divides the group between those who will stay and those who will go. In his room, Hyan was buying things. Level 2 power boxes, Level 2 farmer boxes, sugar, oil, proteins. He will open those boxes to see what they bring. He gets the overload ability, increasing his stats by 25%. Only when used, the person becomes very tired. Using it, his current strength would be that of 8 or 9 men. That's already a lot. Think that a gorilla has the strength of 10 large men in good physical shape. Hyan is more or less close. Meanwhile, the crazy woman was informing them of her blue plan to calluses. According to her, it was going to be very easy. Basically, it's killing the refugees who are the most vulnerable. Then break the doors and enter the fortress. Hyan and the policeman inspected the places. There's one quite good for shooting from there. The problem is the view is quite bad. The tower would be better for having vision, but is less secure. Hyan asks the officer if he is capable of shooting accurately at 200 meters. He assures he can. He was a sniper for a few months in the army. So San Kai brings a gift to the old cop, a Navarre. The policeman couldn't believe it. Hyan tells him they only have 20 bullets, so he must be accurate, and he gives him the weapon. The others are in positions. The guys approach. The girl warns them. The guys are confused. The shelter is empty. She says to advance anyway. If they discover them, it will be hard to make another attack, but as they approach, the new ones open fire. They take out the first vehicle. The chick curses. They were waiting for them. But that's impossible. She continues toward the base under a rain of bullets. They approach and arrive. The giant guy gets out with a saw to cut iron and starts damaging the door. When they were about to try to kill the one breaking the door, the chick and her henchmen cover him, opening fire. And they wound the chubby guy. Our guys take cover from the shots. The door is slowly being damaged. Behind are Old Man Bo and others well armed. Hyan tells them to calm down. He has a plan. He runs out. The chick curses. They have used half their bullets and still haven't gotten in. But it's almost done. The door is opening. He warns the chick. The crazy woman laughs. Now those rookies will be hers. She yells for them to continue. She gets behind the big guy who pushes the door aside. Hyan warns Officer Lee that he already has his target in his sights. The big guy enters. Our guys are surprised. They wonder if that is his hand. Moreover, he's tanking the shots as if it were nothing. The chick mocks the rookies. They are panicking in their first assault. Policeman Lee shoots and shatters the upper part of that giant. It only leaves a damned hole. They can't believe it. She doesn't know what caliber that was, but it must be something anti-tank. From behind, Hyan aims at her. He opens fire, kills several. They want to flee. She yells retreat and to go to the vehicles. Hyan aims at the chick, who is clearly the leader. She noticed it and covers herself with a companion. Hyan notices how merciless the woman is. She throws her friend at Hyan. Hyan dodges him. They are going to escape, but Officer Lee will take care of that. He opens fire and takes off one of the chick's legs. He really missed. That guy tries to take his boss away. She yells at him to drive, and they flee under intense fire. They manage to escape, but the mission was completed. Of course, the system makes it clear to him that it's not over. This is only the first part. They will meet her again. Everyone celebrates the victory. Hyan warns them that they must reinforce the base and the refugee area because they will return. At their base, the guy couldn't believe that only 3 returned. And she with one leg less, the chick curses. They had heavy weapons, that is, bring him human meat, he's hungry. But that guy doesn't pay attention to her. She asks if they plan to betray her. Do they think there's something because there are more of them? The guy has things clear, it's now or never, he will kill her. How dare she talk to him like that? She is an invalid. He says no one will defend her. She looks at her 2 colleagues behind and they look away. Everyone surrounds her. She's finished. She's crazy. No one supports her. Here it ends. She will die. Now the third boss, who, by the way, doesn't like being called that. His forces have been reduced to less than half in addition to the lost resources. They are worried about the possibility of encountering a certain tentacled mutant zombie. The new boss's plan is to seek refuge with the group from the west side. Later at the scene, Hyan and a few of our guys arrive. They decide to enter stealthily, running into the crazy woman torn to pieces. Although for the cop, it's a surprise that her own people killed her. For Hyan, it's not. His friend asks him about that giant she brought, that guy who looked like a mutant. But he didn't seem like a zombie. Even the cop had his questions about that. The explanation, Hyan says, is human meat. To be an evolved and acquire abilities like the zombies, you must eat human meat. Of course, everyone would like to get abilities and those things. But eating human meat is a line they don't want to cross. For their good luck, Hyan says that's not the only method to get it. There is another. He takes out a kind of core and explains that whether they are evolved, human-eaters, or a zombie, all are mutants, and they need to absorb exotic energy to evolve. The exotic energy of a healthy human is dispersed throughout their flesh. In contrast, evolved and rare mutants condense it into cores. And the rarer the mutation, the more energy the core has. Officer Lee asks if then, by eating zombies, they can obtain abilities. No, Hyan responds, ordinary people cannot eat zombie meat or they would become one. Mutants like Chang, for example, can prey on other zombies. At that moment, the system informs him that his task has been completed. Apparently, that little mutiny of the gang auto-completed his mission. And for him, they are no longer a threat. Out of nowhere, he is attacked by a zombie. Of course, thanks to his abilities, he could avoid the undead's bite. But it was strange. That zombie appeared out of nowhere and without making noises. Obviously, it's a mutation. Hyan takes the core of that thing and offers it both to the officer and his buddy, but the latter refuses to eat it. Officer Lee, after thinking a bit, devours both cores. There's no pain, no screams, just an incredible sensation of strength. It feels really great. Hyan congratulates him. Now he is evolved. Of course, he must take it easy because his current strength isn't enough to avoid being killed. And after understanding that, the trio leaves. In the West Steel Plant Gang, the newly appointed new leader introduces himself, and he is taken to the leaders of this place. They ask him why they are here. She asks him where their leader and the second leader of their gang are. This new leader says that after being attacked, both died. So the bald guy orders his men to take him to a safe house, while he laughs together with the lady. After being taken to a so-called safe place, she wonders about the strangeness of that supposed safe house. If you look at it well, with so many bars, it looks more like a prison than a house. One of the men from this gang arrives and yells that they must leave. They are called. They are nervous. The leader asks what's happening. The lady asks him, what should be the punishment for someone who betrays their own leader? The new leader pretends to be nervous and not know what they're talking about. It's all a misunderstanding, he says, but perhaps it's too late for them. They are surrounded. The lady orders their death. Anyway, they don't believe anything from Blonde Essen. Moreover, one of the officers from this place says he traveled to the coal mine. And there he found the body of the boss of their gang. Besides, the second boss wasn't anywhere. For him, it's obvious that they betrayed them. Blonde tries to defend himself from the accusations, but Bald Jin and the MILF have no proof, but also no doubts, making it clear that if it weren't for the abilities of their former boss and those of the second in command, they would have finished off their gang long ago. So the order is clear, kill them all. One of Blonde's men begs for forgiveness and offers information. The MILF lady asks what, and the fool spills everything at once. He informs them of our protagonist's establishment on the other side of the city, and he promises to take them there if they don't kill him. The lady asks how strong they are compared to them, and the guy says they are quite similar. A real threat, says the lady. Of course, says the guy, they don't have evolved, because when they attacked their camp, there wasn't even one. That information interests others there who didn't know it. But Bald Jin asks if they didn't have evolved, how is it that they lost against them? And that, says the henchman, is because of their weapons. They have heavy weaponry so powerful they were capable of taking down the giant with a single shot. The lady says that information is very useful. The guy thinks they will let him live, but she orders the death of all. Now they debate what they should do. That level of threat is concerning for them, such heavy weapons. Attacking them is a risk, says the lady. So the first thing is to send a spy. Meanwhile, at the base, Hyan was playing with his system. They have 126 points, exchanging 50 for a level 2 technology box, and 5 for proteins, sugar, and oils. Then they knocked on his door, entering his dear friend, who informs him they caught a suspicious subject near the base. Hyan goes to look, and there the policeman has grabbed a strange subject. The encounter with this crazy guy is as follows. He introduces himself to Hyan as Jiang, a subject sent from an establishment called West Steel Wind or something like that. A place that, according to one of Hyan's refugees, is near the southern suburbs. A pretty big place, as big as the coal mine was. Of course, according to Jiang, his job is to look for other establishments, to recruit them according to the wishes of their leaders. You know, survivors must unite and blah, blah, blah. But Hyan doesn't swallow that tale. Living through this apocalypse for the second time, Hyan knows that trusting is losing your life. Moreover, the chubby guy tells him he doesn't trust him. That subject has been hanging around there for a while, and he was drawing a map. With the mind's eye Hyan trusts on the floor of his spy, the guy tells him he doesn't trust him. That subject has been hanging around there for a while. A map. With the mind's eye, Hyan checks the subject's hostility. He takes out a gun and aims. The crazy guy begs for his life. Swearing he is innocent, Hyan asks and whispers to his buddy if he has seen Jiang. His buddy responds no. So with a plan in mind, Hyan orders to let him go, something the guy couldn't believe. Moreover, Hyan returns the map to the guy, who kneels, giving thanks. Then he runs out of there, while another guy thinks he didn't release him out of goodness. He wonders how many points he will get by annihilating that other base, 5 months later, at the West Steel plant. A couple of guys commented that people are disappearing again. According to reports, it's that monster again. At that moment, a noise is heard. One who is dumb wants to investigate, while the other, who has a few more neurons, is told no, better they leave. A couple of knives come flying and boom. This one comes running to the base, announcing that a monster has killed his companion. The next asks if it's the tentacled one. The smart one didn't manage to see it well. But he supposes yes, angry and worried. The redhead orders everyone to hide and those who are evolved with escape abilities to follow. Thus they arrive at a place they don't approach, but they don't manage to see anything, or something, they only find tracks. Maybe it took them and left without more, says one. The thing is that since the coal base fell, attacks and disappearances have increased. But the redhead knows it, that this attack wasn't the work of the tentacled zombie. For his part, Hyan has already managed to survive longer than he survived in his previous life. To continue like this and rebuild civilization might not be a problem. For him, moreover, he must increase his population by request of the system. The thing is, even with these 4 months, the mission to go and finish off the steel plant hasn't appeared. At that moment, his friends have returned. Hyan jumps from on high. The hunting, according to them, has been a total success. Moreover, little Chua, who is that boy from before, has performed well today. He has hunted his first zombie on his own. The system sends a new mission. Nemesis Vault 3. Eliminate threats, protect potential allies. 80-point reward. Hyan feels curious about that of potential allies. He met with those he trusts, and although with complaints, he announced that he would infiltrate the steel base alone. Which seems and is dangerous. Even so, he calms his lackeys. His current strength is something not even Chang could deal with. And his point is to confirm if they are allies or enemies. As for this base, it will remain in their hands. Until his return, the old man assures him they will keep everything under control. Meanwhile, the steel base. The redhead is denied entry to the boss's room, and he reacts badly, pushing the guards aside with blows. From inside, a voice calls him. Making him come to his senses, the redhead apologizes, just as it would be the tentacled zombie. So there is another killer, says the boss, and although it's useful information, it must remain an absolute secret. Says the lady, the reason is that if everyone is already nervous with one problem, imagine with 2, it could be much worse if they find out. Then she approaches all seductive and asks if he has anything else to tell her. This one, nervous, apologizes and leaves. Then another voice speaks, mocking her, says she has become careless, leaving her tracks. She, annoyed, responds that then he should do it. Bald Jin responds, perfect. He will kill and she will cook. He kills some zombies. He is very close to the objective. He knows he must maintain a low profile. Moreover, he must avoid being recognized, invoking some scissors, and he gives haircuts. He takes dirt and dirties his face and parts of his body. Upon approaching, he is stopped. They ask him who he is. Hyan says he had noticed humans around here and wanted to come see if he could join the survivors. It's great to see people alive, being a lone survivor. This guy smiles and asks how he has managed until now. Hyan tells a sad story. His original group had more than 10 people. He was the only one who managed to survive. The guy with laughs asks if that means he isn't very strong. Hyan says, pretending to be nervous, that he is somewhat strong. He has gained experience fighting zombies. He will do whatever it takes to be useful. The guy tells him that's not what he meant, but it doesn't matter. He invites him to join if he wants, to see some tests. Over there in the alley, just by seeing how they talk and treat him, Hyan understands that here it's the same as in the coal mine. But at that moment, the redhead arrives and asks what's going on here. The guy informs him of the newcomer, and that he was going to search his body, something that surprises the redhead. Because they don't usually do that in that way. Moreover, he was going to take him to a secluded, lonely alley. Anyway, he makes them search him right there. He asks him to hand over his weapons. Hyan asks how he knows they won't kill him once he does. The redhead tells him it's part of the security of the place. If he doesn't want to hand them over, he can leave freely. Hyan takes out a knife and hands it over. After searching him more, he doesn't find anything. And this guy thinks Hyan has moral limits unlike the other. Perhaps he's a bit different from the coal mine. The redhead asks him how he was capable of surviving alone with a knife. Is he an evolved? Hyan pretends not to know exactly what that is, but says that maybe that explains how strong he has felt for a while. He is taken to a reception room. Then Bald Jin arrives, and then the redhead arrives. He is taken to a reception room. Then Bald Jin arrives, who apologizes for the wait and asks the name of our boy, who introduces himself as Hyan. Bald Jin asks if he is truly an evolved as reported. Hyan says it seems so. Out of nowhere, Bald Jin throws his axe. Hyan clearly dodges it easily but without breaking character. He tells Bald Jin that was dangerous. This one laughs and says he truly is an evolved. But if he weren't, you would have killed me, Hyan claims. Bald Jin laughs and says if he had been a normal person, his loss wouldn't be a problem. Now he asks if he knows how one becomes an evolved. Hyan responds that he wants to know. So Bald Jin warns him. Inside there, very few know the truth about being an evolved, so he doesn't want anyone to find out the truth. They have spread the lie that they are chosen or something like that. If by chance he finds out that he has talked, he lunges at Hyan, threatening. He himself will kill him. Hyan pretends to be nervous, but the truth is that he almost ended up killing Bald Jin, because if he had attacked him with a sword or something like that, he would have been forced to defend himself. But he could control himself upon seeing his bare hands. Even so, he took out a knife, something that Bald Jin noticed and congratulated him for his reflexes and abilities. But he warns him that he is no match for him. And he will overlook that he brought a hidden weapon, ordering a couple to find clothes for Hyan and take him to the bar. And then he has been taken to the meeting room. Bald Jin introduces Hyan to all the evolved of his group, who, together with Bald Jin, is one of the leaders. The others are officers, and they are exposed under the tutelage of a strange blonde. While the lady tells him how lucky he was to get to them, there he will be safe. She says only to eat well, he will have to prove his worth. Hyan's tutor tells him he arrived just in time because today it's their turn to patrol the area. 4 go out, and with them goes the guy who went to spy on Hyan's base 4 months ago. For him, this new boy seems familiar. The blonde asks another protagonist if the safe told him about his base. Hyan says more or less, he only warned him to keep the secret of the evolved. The blonde confirms it, and the base only they 4, the bald guy, and the lady know the secret of human meat. Moreover, they 4, the lady and the bald guy, are family. Real family. Therefore, if the secret leaks, it will clearly be because Hyan spilled the beans. He assures he isn't going to say anything, while he thinks that subject is the one they caught before. Hyan and his group. Hyan is worried he will discover his identity. As for the other officer, his name is Lin Kyan, an outsider but talented and strong. Even so, the other officer, the redhead Lin Kyan, does not know the secret of human flesh. And he must never know it, or neither he nor Hyan will survive. For the next day, Hyan thinks that Lin Kyan must be truly talented for them to keep him alive. They are probably suppressing him with resources, or he would be stronger than the leaders. They arrive at the place they were looking for, a settlement aware of members who have been watching for 4 days. Apparently none are evolved. The plan is not to hunt them and not to raise them. Now they have to change their way of thinking. Another says don't be as inflexible as Lin Kyan. Now they are more than human. They are at the top of the food chain. In summary, Hyan thinks they will capture them, fatten them up, and then eat them. Exactly, one tells him, except they don't need to take them all. Blondie responds, they are going to kill 3 and take 4. Watch and learn. In that base, one of the inhabitants was exhausted. The work is very difficult at the moment, but they are almost finished. Then they notice how a group of zombies out of nowhere goes after them. They don't know how, but it's too late to run. The zombies finish off quite a few of them. There are many. Hyan asks if that's the plan, to bring zombies to attack them. Blondie explains this is because the base's resources are limited. They can't waste them on fights with small groups. Well, now the moment to act has arrived. When the zombies were about to eat the poor and well-off girl, out of nowhere their heads fly off. They have been saved. They introduce themselves as the HEDWES Evolvers from the West Steel base. And although he saw them in action, he realized they aren't even that strong. They are at the same level as San Kai and his group. At that moment, Hyan felt something behind him. But when he turned, he couldn't see anything. He wonders if it was his imagination. Blondie calls him, and they realize that what is stalking him is the tentacled zombie. Hyan is given the task of staying behind and gathering the remaining supplies at the base, plus gathering the bodies of the people who died to be taken later and eaten. As for the survivors, the group takes them away. As they advance, the rescue group thank them for the help. The girl asks if in the place they are going there is water to take a bath. That guy grabs her and tells her that of course they have, even soap. Then that guy notices something. Looking, he tells the others that something is approaching. And quickly he yells to be alert. And although it's clear something is approaching, the guy with sensory skills can't spot where it is, Blondie thinking he's maybe paranoid. Of course, to make him feel it really good, the creature goes through the neck of the one with sensory skills, finishing him off on the spot, and in an instant it's behind Blondie. Hyan collected the evolutionary stones from the zombies. Only 2 of them had cores. The cries for help from the group are heard. There, Blondie was ready for them. And if they thought Hyan would come to save him, they are mistaken. That thing in an instant crushed the guy's body, breaking all his bones. The survivors are in shock. Only one of the supposed heroes is left alive, and clearly he is next. For the mutant's attention settles on him. He grabs the woman and throws her toward the monster. The monster catches her. When she was about to meet her maker, Hyan, who knows that to populate the earth he's going to need many of these, appears to save the day. He asks if this is the supposed tentacled monster. The guy says no, this is its child. They call it child because the tentacled monster is always muttering the phrase son all the time. And it has the ability to turn ordinary zombies into creatures similar to itself. Well, since the tentacled creature always says son and transforms other zombies to be like it, they started calling them its children. And the child is this strong. Hyan cannot imagine how strong the father is. At that moment, the guy flees with the excuse that he will go get reinforcements. The others also run to hide. The little tentacled one wraps around Hyan, who smiles and taking advantage of this pulls the monster effortlessly. Hyan is happy to be able to test his strength against this thing since in his previous life he didn't have such an opportunity to awaken, managing in an instant to destroy that monster. It was incredibly easy. The girl who had stayed nearby was very surprised. Hyan asked her if she was okay, but she could only scream from fear. Calmly, she says that he is human and not a monster. As for the others, they ran back to the base. Hyan asks the guy who is the least bad, asking what happened. Through tears, the poor crazy guy explains to him that everyone was annihilated by the tentacled one's child. As for the newcomer, maybe he's already dead too. Angry, bald Jin annihilates one of the survivors, so 3 evolvers dead just for some pieces of flesh. At that moment, Hyan arrived and threw at the feet of all of them the tentacles of the creature. The only one who was happy was the redhead Lee. The lady couldn't believe the feat. Hyan says that he has avenged his family for them, impressing both leaders with how strong that boy turned out to be. Then Hyan hurries them to get vehicles to go for the loot. Inside the base, bald Jin and the lady interrogate their ally, asking if that monster was truly that strong. He assures them it was. It killed them all without them being able to do anything. In fact, he thinks that if bald Jin and the lady had been there, they would have died too. The bald guy already expected Hyan to have skills. When he threatened him before, he reacted with speed, drawing his weapon, but he never got into a combat stance. How is Hyan so strong, he wonders. Maybe that monster's child wasn't that strong, opines the lady. Then they fall silent, for Lee has arrived. The first thing is that he offers his condolences, but with the apocalypse they have lost many family members, so it's no longer necessary to give condolences. On the other hand, Lee wants to make Hyan an officer of the group, but bald Jin thinks otherwise, since they don't really know him. The lady calms him, saying he has the strength to be an officer, but he must prove it. Of course, for that the plan is to send him to fight the tentacled monster, something that upsets the redhead, since it's something not even the 4 of them together could achieve. Even so, the chick isn't going to change her mind completely. It's the opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So they informed Hyan. They tell him that if he is successful, they will give him the position of leader, since he will prove to be the strongest of them all there. In 2 days, they will move to hunt said monster. With the mind's eye, Hyan notes the clear hostility of the lady and bald Jin. As for the redhead Hyan, he is meh. He neither cares nor dislikes him. At Hyan's base, they have received a call from the protagonist, who alerts them via walkie-talkie what the plan is, the location where he will be, and that he must bring Chen Chang. They are going to eliminate those enemies once and for all. The officer communicated the plan to the others, leaving the old man in charge. As for those who will go, they will be Sankai Zio, Shan Shan, Qin Yuan, Liu Keo, Chen Jai, and Chen Chang. Also that boy who offers to accompany them even though his mother didn't want him to risk it, and they set off for the place. Hyan and that group had arrived. After taking a look, he located our guys who were preparing. The lady boss called a young man a boy, then ordered him to enter the park. The redhead asked why she was sending a boy into the park. The reason is simple, he is the bait. The tentacled one looks for children, and those children are usually kids, so this boy will be the bait. Of course, the boy is scared, but bald Jin demonstrates that the sun fried the few neurons he had left and violently throws the boy inside. Our group descends from the building with ropes. The tentacled one soon appears behind that boy, turning out to be the father of that boy. The redhead wanted to go rescue the boy, but the lady prevented him since Hyan will take care of it. In an instant, he saves the little one and stands before the monster, recognizing it immediately. When the redhead wanted to save Hyan, he was subdued by bald Jin and the lady, who obviously have the plan to sacrifice the protagonist, only they didn't expect that he wouldn't even be able to defend himself. He is weaker than they thought. But why? Asks the redhead. I'll tell you the answer, responds Hyan. The secret to being an evolver is to eat humans. At this, Hyan's group opens fire. The boy from our group runs towards the tentacled one with a Molotov in his hand. Of course, the monster defended itself very easily from the fire, but recognized his son, his real son. The boy cursed because the monster didn't burn. At that, the tentacled one yells at his son not to curse or he will punish him. Chen Chang launches into the fight while the other group takes cover from the rain of bullets. They cannot believe what they are seeing, a mutant fighting alongside humans. Chen Chang protected himself, seeing the attacks of old Sen or San I don't remember. They are quite evenly matched without strength. Hyan is joking, which confuses Bald Jin. At that, Hyan breaks the tentacles with ease. Plus, the group notices that the ones attacking know Hyan. Hyan, that is the name of the leader of the group that had a super shelter and that wiped out the ones from the coal mine. Now they realize they were tricked and are surrounded by what is probably Hyan's main combat force. They aren't very strong physically, but their weapons are quite powerful. Plus, that Hyan just demonstrated his true strength. As if that weren't enough, they have a mutant as strong as the tentacled one. Getting out of there alive, says the lady. There is no guarantee, but she has a plan and asks to be covered. Bald Jin threw his axe, which breaks the ground, raising debris. Taking advantage of that, the lady lunges, but the little one, the chubby guy, tried to defend him. The chick managed to reach the little one. She has a hostage. She punches him. That distracts the tentacled one, who has become careless. Hyan has his neck ready to tear it off, but Hyan tells him to let go while the crazy woman threatens to take the poor boy's life. The policeman offers him a place for the little one, but the desperation they have shown makes the chick sure she caught the right one. If they don't drop their weapons, she will send him to meet his maker, but before ours surrender, the tentacled one forces her to let go of the boy. Bald Jin's nephew is split in half in a single move. She asks what is happening. That monster was immobilized before, but she notices Hyan nearby laughing and the mutant zombie looking at fireflies. The tentacled one takes the boy, brings him close to the monster, who recognizes his son. 100% capable of saying his full name. Chua Chua. Hyan explains to Chua Chua that it is his dad, San. He tells the old man that his son and wife are safe. Boy, the wife is really going to enjoy the husband's changes. So many tentacles. Here a cute reunion occurs. The thing is, Bald Jin can't stand this crap Korean novel. And he really says it like that. I'm not saying it. That makes San grab him. The lady flees, selling out Bald Jin, who gets angry with her. And San catches her too. She falls and breaks her face against the ground. Then she is dragged. Bald Jin is glad because he won't die alone. He yells at Redhead Li Chen to help him. Only the two of them are left. He was thinking of doing it, but Hyan stopped him. If you don't move, he tells him. He assures him he will get out of there alive. Bald Jin is slammed against the ground, torn to shreds. Plus the tentacled one whips his back as if they were lashes. As for the lady, she starts to be squeezed as if by an anaconda that is going to eat its prey. Well, the poor thing is crushed until she bursts into pieces of flesh and blood. Thus Hyan completed the mission, obtaining 80 points, discovering moreover that the Redhead Li is the mysterious potential ally he was supposed to protect. Hyan asks Red, we'll call him that now, if he has any questions. And of course, to start, if he is from the city, this one answers another question. What did you mean about eating people? Hyan explains. To be an evolver isn't luck, it's by eating people. Lee then remembered something, a scene from months ago when he offered his food to a little girl. He now understands what he did, when that girl disappeared amid the appearance of zombies and the tentacled guy. Now he vomits from despair. And enraged, he launched himself to punch the body of the already dismantled Bald Jin. Hyan asks if they also eat. Officer Lee, his namesake by the way, tells him no. Hyan explains that there is another way to obtain the powers, and it's by eating that. He tosses him a core, explaining exactly what it is. They aren't as common as human flesh, but are more efficient and without side effects. Red asks about those effects, and it's one that he has already felt. Eating human flesh and becoming an evolver like that causes you in the long run to lose control of your emotions. Rage and violence start to dominate you. Urge to kill, the thirst for blood controls you. The only way to keep within the lines is to stop eating human flesh. But there's no going back for the effects that are already present, but at least if you stop eating human flesh it doesn't get worse. As for San, who is capable of speaking almost clearly, now he speaks. Brother Hyan, son safe. Hyan understood everything. The thing is that San's form could cause terror in the base, so it wouldn't be good to bring him for now. San has no problem. He's used to living like this for months, plus his son and his woman are fine. He tells Red that he should go lead the people left in his base, but he refuses. He is a danger to them, so Hyan is going to send the cop to look for those people. And he tells Red to calm down. He will be watching him so he doesn't lose control. Meanwhile, somewhere a group was being hunted by something. They screamed for help. They are plant-type mutant zombies, or something like that. Advance devouring everything, leaving nature and toxic gases wherever they travel. The girl from that group couldn't run anymore. One of her companions encourages her. They must get out of the forest. Then they hear something. It's the sound of the wind, which means they are close to getting out of there. But they also hear the zombies approaching, which makes them run again. They almost make it. "We're almost there," the guy tells his friend. They are about to. He manages to see the path back just steps away. But at that moment, the girl is grabbed by the neck by a vine. Or no, here we go again. Then she is lifted by a kind of carnivorous plant, and well, they eat her. The guy cries and screams. He says it can't be. The guy's friends slap him to make him react. He apologizes. They flee and this time manage to get out of that damned forest. Apparently, the zombies don't usually leave that place. Apparently, because if they start to come out, the group recognizes the place they arrived at. Park that used to be very visited in the neighboring city. Of course, because they are from another city, but everything seems abandoned now. Then they see something hidden over there. It looks like an illegal street vendor. They approach but recoil upon realizing it's a zombie. Turning out to be Old San, they clearly flee. It doesn't seem like that thing is following them, but this group's bad luck is tremendous. The zombies approach. The plant zombies. They have surrounded them. One of them surrenders. There's no way to survive this. They even think of offing themselves before being eaten alive and transformed into those things. But then, Old San's tentacles start eliminating the plant-type zombies. This mutant walks from the guys who wonder what is happening at Hyan's base, which was starting to look like a fortress village. The Utopia mission progresses. The community is expanding. With his points, he buys several weapon boxes, a superpower box, and a dark technology box. Plus more broken stuff. He has obtained an armored military rig, plus a new power, slave brand, an ability that allows him to enslave a zombie. For now, he isn't going to use it since both Chang and San are stable. He also obtains a new mission, control the weeds, Hyan thinking he will have to go weed the terrain. Hyan's refugees wonder if that new zombie is one of Mr. Hyan's, something like the other they have seen before, the one that doesn't attack people. At that moment, both the son and San's wife come running to him. Hyan recognizes them again. Old San has brought one of his strange vegetarian zombies to Hyan, alerting him to the location where they are and the strangeness of the forest. One of the guys saved by San explains to Hyan what happened. They come from a town somewhat far from the city. Said town is almost as big as the city itself, but now it's engulfed in a dense forest. Many plants and animals have mutated. Just like that corpse they have there. Hyan prepares a small expedition to check that place, sending Old Bo to get the armored vehicle. As for the newcomers, they will have to show him the way. A good while has passed. They have arrived at the area that borders the strange forest. The vines have extended towards the city. Hyan decides to enter, a decision that worries the survivor. He warns him how dangerous that place is. His group was huge, and only 4 survived. The thing is, Hyan warns it is spreading. If they leave it like this, it will be a matter of time before it devours this city too. Plus, he needs his group to learn to face crises on their own, sending for the combat group from his shelter. The zombie hunt begins. In this first stage, massacring them is not a problem. With Hyan's abilities and the advanced weaponry they have, all the zombies are farmable. Not far away there is an evolver or a mutant zombie. He asks another zombie that already died if there are no humans left in this world. He kills another that lunges at him and complains that there are no humans. He doesn't run into any anymore. That is a disgrace for him. He won't be able to taste human flesh anymore. So this guy is a human who is an evolver, of course until he manages to catch the scent of a group of living humans running into our boy Hyan's base. But he recognizes their weapons, so he knows he can't just approach. He will have to wait and watch. For his part, Hyan has gathered his trusted ones. He wants to distribute evolutionary cores to them. But first he will strengthen Officer Lee and his good friend San Kai. Of course they refuse to be the only ones, but Hyan prefers to strengthen that pair first. Since the others can defend themselves with weapons for the moment, the other survivors agree. As for his friend, Hyan calls her aside and she comes asking what he wants to do. She entered. Hyan after a while opened the door and found a good group there spying on what the two were doing. He pulled the ear of the one who is clearly the leader of the group and took him inside. There his friend had placed several of those serums that increase your strength. San Kai believing it's a vaccine or something like that. The thing is, since San Kai had already consumed several cores, his strength increased a lot. And Hyan wants to compare what is stronger, the cores or those serums, so he will pit both of them against each other. Confident, San Kai tells her to hit him without hesitation. The crazy girl almost sends him to sleep with one punch. Shan Shan has become much stronger, so strong that only Hyan and Grandfather Chang could beat her, because if Hyan pumped Grandfather Chang full of those serums. San Kai feels hurt for not having been chosen for these serums. He thought he was the closest to Hyan. The chubby guy laughs. Later, Hyan has chosen those who will go with him into the forest. The issue is that survivor is very afraid to go. He begs them not to take him again. So one of his friends, the one who lost his virgin, offers to go in his place totally. Life without his dear virgin no longer has meaning. Well, on the outskirts of the West City, that evolver wanted to eat humans. He walks annoyed for not having got meat soon. That guy interrupts, being insulted by that other one because he returned without permission and besides didn't bring meat. He calms them down. This time he is there to share information. Something the others don't believe him, because that guy is very selfish. Plus, they are already half monsters. How are they going to trust each other? But he tells them he found living, pure humans. The thing is, they have weapons and he alone can't handle them. Upon hearing that information, their faces change. Of course, they hope it's not a lie. He assures them it's not. As they advance in the forest, here the boy warns of the dangerous alienas up high. Hyan asks his name, this being Shinkai. Hyan tells him he is brave compared to his companions. But it's that Shinkai is enraged. A plant took his virgin, plus his family is still alive somewhere in this jungle. He has to find them. As they advance, Hyan is touched by a sticky aliena. Shinkai yells at him to be careful. Hyan was lifted by the neck with just strips of that aliena. He managed to pull that carnivorous flower out from inside, all the way to its stomach. Even so, that thing didn't die. It tried to escape. But old San wasn't going to allow it, catching it in the air. After falling, the thing releases a gas. It smells sweet, but they quickly realize it has a hallucinogenic effect. Shinkai sees his girlfriend dying, being drawn into the forest. At the base, the sexy bad guys had arrived. They drool seeing so much human flesh nearby. One of them runs out from excitement. He charges without a plan at the group, managing to bite one. The officer doesn't even hear the commotion outside. That thing resisted bullets, but the officer arrived and gave him a tremendous kick. Then he gifted him bullets to take home, ordering everyone to go back inside. The mutant arrived alive where his own were, only almost dead. The blonde woman who seems to take command mocked, and although the guy could be saved, these unscrupulous, immoral mutants simply decided to kill him and divided the flesh among themselves. "How will they get in?" asks the bald one. The blonde has a great idea. They are humans, not zombies, so they'll do it easily by walking, pretending to be people who need help. Before poor Shinkai enters the forest, a knife finishes off his virgin girlfriend for the second time. Kyan brought him back to reality. That was clearly a monster created by a carnivorous plant. But the strange thing for the others is that upon waking from the illusion, it feels as if years have passed and not minutes. Kyan investigates the body of that thing that pretended to be the boy's girlfriend. She wants to know how its body works, managing to find something interesting. This originates in the earth, and upon taking it out, it seems to be a yam-like tuber. Kyan asks Shinkai what more he knows about those vegetables. He explains that they eat humans, that's all he knows. But in the Agricultural and Forestry Institute laboratory, there is a man named Lao who should know more about them. Before escaping, he was still alive, so it's possible he is still there, leading the resistance. Kyan decides to go visit that guy. Meanwhile, those hotties began their plan to enter the base. They stumble and everything. They fall right into the trap and come to their aid. One of them says they should inform first as a precaution, but the Mazing says it's a damsel in distress, so he convinces the other to take her while their mutant companions watch. The mutant says that chick is great. The jealous blonde raises her foot and says that she is greater. Kyan and the others are near the laboratory, and on their way they run into survivors. In fact, one of them is Shakao, or Shankai's aunt, but she is thinking they were zombies pretending to be people. She orders her companions, having to deflect some arrows, and the young boy intervenes so they see that they are real. The boy's aunt asks about his group and the ones who were exploring with him. Shakao explained everything. As for those zombies that are there, they are good at posing for those two crazies. To the base arrives Kyan, who feels the strange presence of the evolvers but can't see them. Being received by the policeman, and the thing is that these evolvers are ecstatic about Kyan. They can smell and feel that she is special, a pure evolver. If they eat her, they will become much, much stronger. Inside the fortress's infirmary, Kyan tended to the one who was bitten by that mutant, immediately giving some liquids that Kyan left behind in case someone was bitten by a zombie. The thing is, whoever bit that guy wasn't a zombie. At that, the evolver who says she knows who bit him arrives. It was a mutant with human eyes, she says, very violent. She spins a super story there about those dangerous mutants, and those things. Officer Lee trusts the aunt, but it's Kyan who feels something strange about her, telling the officer that she has a bad feeling coming from that woman. It's as if something doesn't add up about her. But of course, they minimize the concern and for now aren't going to move against her. As for Kyan, she had arrived at the laboratory. Kyan asks why choose such a bad building for a base. It's very hard to defend. They should look for more reinforced places. They explain that there the disaster happened differently. Had they chosen those places, they would all have died. Because the day the zombies appeared, a fog appeared out of nowhere, much denser than it is now. Everyone who had contact with it in low places became plant zombies. Only those who were at heights like elevated floors survived. Going up to the top, she runs into that scientist. After informing him that the world went to hell, Kyan sends for her mutant zombies. The old man asks if abroad there will be normality, but Kyan doubts it. Since no country in this almost year of infection has sent help, it's likely everyone is in the same situation and it's every man for himself. At that, he takes out that yam. The old man tells him that tuber is one of the few edible ones. They have already run into it. Not long ago, they discovered it because hunger forced them to try it and it turned out to be non-lethal. In fact, it's a great food. Kyan smiles. They probably are cores and they could harvest them. At that, a guy warns that something is happening outside. They are being surrounded by zombies. Many panic. The old man orders women and children to go up to the roof and hide, to look for bathrooms and rooms. Those who can fight will have to defend the place floor by floor, staircase by staircase. Everyone goes to their posts. Kyan tells him not to worry. She is curious to know what monsters have them so scared. That must be interesting while she prepares that power that can subdue a zombie. The professor says they won't get to see the real body of the creature causing this, but judging by the number of zombies and the form of the attack, it's sure that thing is nearby. That thing probably controls the plant-type zombies via pheromones. Kyan summons an AK-47, leaving the professor with his mouth open. Where did that weapon come from? The protagonist goes to see how resistant those monsters are, starting to shoot at them. The truth is they seem easy to destroy, but they regenerate in a very fast way. How much damage will they be able to regenerate? He asks. After much shooting, he has managed to take down one. But it took more than 60 bullets, that is, 2 full magazines. No wonder these people fear those things so much. He summons some wooden boxes before everyone's eyes. Then he opens the boxes with his hands, something that surprises the people even more. Those boxes are full. What surely is the smartest way to fight against those monsters? Using fire. Those Molotovs will be for the stragglers that manage to get inside. Asking the professor what he will do. Kyan and her 2 mutant zombies launch themselves out the window straight into battle, leaving those people even more crazy, who wonder who the hell are they? The trio initiates a zombie slaughter. They are no match for them. As for Red Lee, he pulls those people out of the shadows and tells them to take the Molotovs and go to the positions. Kyan and the other 2 have controlled everything outside. Inside the building, the stragglers were annihilated with fire. So Kyan goes into the forest in search of that mutant, running into a strange flower. She wonders if that is really its body, but the thing attacks with its whip. Kyan dodges. Then she grabs a couple more of those whips that attack her. The creature releases that strange gas. But holding her breath, Kyan lunges at it with the slave brand. Ready, the protagonist marks the creature from the building where people already notice as the monster they have called Floral Field. It advances toward them. They worry. But Kyan asks if there were cores in those monsters below, responding San and Chang that there weren't many, but yes. Besides, not all the monsters had them. As for the survivors, she informs them that that mutant flower now is one of hers and is under her control. Those people couldn't believe it, but it is so. They went down, and there it was, docile like a dog. The professor couldn't believe it. He touched it. How did you tame it? He asks. Kyan asks him what he thinks of that thing. The old man explains that although mutated, it must conserve the instincts of a plant whose world is as cruel as that of animals. The strongest and most resistant survive, competing for light, water, and nutrients. His conclusion is that probably this mutant tree is so violent because it lost its capacity to obtain light from other trees. At that, the creature reacts, scaring and worrying everyone. But Kyan calms them. It's impossible for that thing to disobey her, so they will watch what it wants to do. The plant connects directly to Kyan's brain through which it passes her information. Part of the old man's analysis was correct. The entire city has become a battlefield of mutant plants that, to obtain solar energy, were forced to parasitize animals and humans. Kyan tells that plant that now that it belongs to her, she is going to solve its problem of needing light. That causes the plant to do something strange. It wraps around Kyan's arm and gives her something. Red asks what it is, turning out to be that this plant has become a symbiote and fused with Kyan. Kyan uses it, managing with this to even split a tree in 2 like butter. They are even stronger than San's own tentacles. Anyway, Kyan has unlocked an achievement, the gardener obtaining 153 points. Meanwhile, at the base, the crazy woman celebrates that everyone is biting her bait. She has already eaten 1 man, then someone knocks on the door. Upon opening, it's a nice guy who has brought her strawberry cake. She asks him who asked him to bring her that. He says he just thought she wanted to try it. The bad thing for him is that he realized he wasn't the first. He wasn't unique. Outside, the mutants argued because the one who was supposed to be attentive to the signal fell asleep and wasn't watching just in case. But the blonde thought of repeating the plan to go see what's happening. The other two say, "Wow, you're great." She does it, and it almost works because she was at the base full of nice guys. No wonder Kyan doesn't let them into the Presi fortress but keeps them all separate. The thing is, for the blonde's bad luck, the redhead yells at the guys at the gate not to believe her, that she is a mutant of the kind mentioned before. She runs off amid the gunfire. She was wounded, repeating the scene that happened with the other guy, this time her imploring for forgiveness, and that they not kill her like she herself did to the other. And he almost crushed her, but the other mutant cut her neck and saved the blonde with the clear condition that she will obey him and would be for him. But now, well, inside the base there is a mess. They have realized the disappearances, and Kyan, searching, ran into the remains of 3 men who have fallen into the chick's webs. She gathered everyone in that area. The redhead got really scared. They are going to discover her. Kyan says there were no noises, no trace of a struggle, and looking directly at the redhead asks what this means. She asks why they are looking at her, and the answer is obvious. "Before you, no one disappeared, dear." Kyan attacked her without mincing words to force her to show her true face. But for her bad luck or good luck, that's where the chapters end.